welcome to another Doctor Who stream talking all things season 2. Once again, I'm joined with Luke.
Yes, hello everyone. It came out just over a month ago, really, didn't it? Or
Mm.
say about a month and a half ago now, right at
Yeah,
the start of
yeah.
December. So we've had our time to sit down, watch through a good bit of it, get through all the lovely special features,
Hmm.
and now here we are to talk about it. It's something we've been wanting to do for a little while, hasn't it? And we finally got round to it.
Yeah, because like the rebirth of these streams was on a collection set, season 14. So it's nice to sort of go, hey, it's not quite as in depth as that, but it's kind of like this is season 2, going to do a tier list, talk about special features, talk a bit about Doctor Who news and what we've been doing since we last spoke. So what have you been
Yeah.
doing?
Oh, not too much really.
Oh,
Watched
okay.
The Last of Us on Monday.
Ah,
We were just talking about that before the stream started because you said you were interested in that, and I basically just told you
yeah.
to go for it because it's amazing. So now I'm here telling anyone who's watching who's maybe interested in checking out The Last of Us, go for it. It's amazing.
Mm.
It's off to a very good start. I also finished off Wednesday. That was on
Okay.
Netflix. That dropped on Doctor Who Day actually. Like they dropped 8 episodes. I finally got around to the last one the other day. Not too bad. I think sort of maybe the journey was better than the ending in that scenario, but I feel like the finale had a lot, maybe a bit too much going on in it.
Mm.
But nevertheless, that's another good little series as well. So yeah, this is just me proving that I do watch things other than Doctor Who.
Yeah, you have broadened your horizons
Yeah,
of things. Yeah, but it's not just
somewhat,
you.
ever so
Yeah,
slightly.
yeah.
Yeah, and other than that, really just going through all of season 2, really binging through that to be ready for this, which has been quite a nice experience actually. Because I feel like with these 60 seasons, particularly like the early Hartnell seasons, you get something out of watching it all in order because oftentimes stories lead into the next one.
Mm.
And so that was quite fulfilling, I suppose, to have that experience of watching it somewhat like it would have been back in the 60s, although not quite week to week.
God, could you
Was
imagine doing one episode a week?
Yeah, that'd take you a very long while. It'd be an interesting experience just to, see exactly how these serials were originally intended to work.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, I don't think nowadays we'd have the patience to actually do it.
No, it's not like 2 episodes and then it's like, right, that's me done for the day.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? And then back on it the next day, really.
Yeah.
How about you? What have you been keeping yourself busy with?
Speaking of Pedro, Mando trailer dropped for series 3.
Yeah, I did.
Very good. Very good. Very excited. Feels like an early birthday present that does. It's dropping in March now, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, right at the start of March as well, isn't it? So it's only really a month and a bit away now.
Yeah, so I'm very pumped for that. Doctor Who wise, just listening to River Song, really. That's been what I've been up to in terms of Doctor Who, the latest box set.
Yeah. I suppose we should probably announce a slight change to the schedule of these streams. Or not, well, not quite a change in schedule, more a change in what we topics, isn't it?
Yeah, but the streams are happening. It's just going to be River because we've both listened to it. Well, you finished it. I'm nearly finished it now.
Yeah, I mean, we're both very much enjoying it, so we said, you know what, why don't we talk about River next instead and just gush over the latest set and I think
Spoilers.
talk about the previous one a bit as well.
Yeah, Firewall and yeah, Two Rivers and a Firewall, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, probably go back to that tier list we did back after New Recruit and update that. So yeah, that's what you got to look forward to next week's stream. And then the stream after that, it'll either be Torchwood or Time War. We'll get round to those two as originally planned. They're not going anywhere. They're just been pushed back a week. And yeah, we'll give you all the details on what's coming up next week, probably.
Yeah, how things are going to shape up.
But for now, we've got this week's stream.
Yes, season 2 talking about telly Doctor Who. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
nice. Makes a change.
Well, certainly to do it live at least. We did
Yes,
we did quite
yes.
a bit of it over the last couple of months, or but half a year really, with the Regeneration Advent Calendar, as we went all the way from the 10th planet to the Power of the Doctor, didn't we?
Yeah.
And all of this we're going to talk about today is before any of that.
Yeah, it's kind of it's Tom Baker's birthday, hence the jumping, which you probably can't see. There we go. I can stand up because I'm doing it on my phone, so it's great. I can move. But yeah, we're talking about William Hart instead of Tom Baker. Happy birthday, Tom Baker. We know you watch. Know you're a big fan.
I'm sure he's sitting down there chuckling to himself.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah.
Oh, hi guys. I watched your collection tier list video earlier and should mention when I met Daphne Ashbrook in late 2019, she was asked to do some behind the scenes work on the collection. Thank you for that, Joe Bowers. So it looks like maybe some Wilderness Years could be coming. Unless she's sitting down behind the sofa to watch a different season, perhaps.
Be interesting to know, because I think we all we think the TV movie is going to happen. I think, safe to say.
Yeah, it seems it. I mean, hopefully it would be with the original film version, like brought into HD rather than a video upscale like we got with the original Blu-ray. But
I think having Russell back, he'll try and get all his eggs back in one basket. And now we've got like the Disney partnership, and I feel like it's likely to get a proper restoration of TV movie.
Yeah, I think there's certainly more of a chance of that now. Joe Bowers also asks, what's your favourite story from this season? Mine's The Time Meddler. That's a good choice, but I think we'll save our answers for a little bit later, won't we?
Just to be more of a tease.
Yeah, just to string you along a little bit. The Whovian with a small collection says Time Meddler is strongest for me too, Joe.
It's a great one.
Love in the chat.
It's a great one. It's a great one.
There's a reason it was chosen for the BFI, isn't there?
Yeah, it's 4 parts.
Yeah, that's also well. There's quite a few 4-parters this season.
Yeah, there is actually. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, apparently the original print for the TV movie no longer exists. It was junked in 1997.
But that's just rude. How dare they?
Come on, junking is a 70s thing.
Goodness gracious me.
You don't go junking in the 90s.
A different type of junkies in the 90s, not missing episodes, you know?
Daniel Hager, the Second Doctor fan. Hi, I bought the steelbook of The Evil of the Dalek from HMV today. I love the cover of it. You've got that steelbook, haven't you?
I do. I think that is a better one than the DVD cover. I think majority of the animated steelbook covers are better than the DVDs.
No, I think there was one you preferred the DVD for, wasn't there? I think Web, isn't it?
Yeah, Web of Fear special edition. Just because I prefer a photo reel cover, like a photo composite than a animated.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But
the animated ones always feel a bit off.
That's just my personal preference of covers.
Oh, Whovian with a small collection is starting to get addicted to steelbooks. It's an expensive thing. But...
Good luck. Because the only problem I had with that was Series 9, which was expensive when I got it. God, 6 years ago now. So I dread to think how much it is now. But yeah, it's satisfying. Once you've got all the steelbooks, you feel like you've unlocked the power of life. You know, because to me,
you've assembled the segments of the key to time.
It has that sort of power because you're like, wow, I am the king. But yeah, for me, it's going to sound really sad, but some nights I just open the cupboard door and I just stare at the steelbooks and like the collections. Because I'm like, oh, it just looks so pretty.
Where I've got my some of the CDs of mine at the moment, it's like opposite my bed. And so like, when it's somewhat early in the morning, if I'm awake at such an hour, I let there's just a bit of light coming through. Kaleidoscope stands out so much because it's like the white spine. but then everything else is like blacked out, so I can see Kaleidoscope there staring at me, just as this white glint in the darkness. But the rest of
The
it's all
nanobots. The
blacked out.
nanobots are coming.
Yeah.
Focus.
Have you finished that one now? By the way,
I have.
there you go.
Very good. Very good.
I mean, speaking of Stephen Noonan featuring in Big Finish stuff, I started listening to The Outlaws again today.
Oh, lovely.
I popped that
Lovely.
because having finished River Song, I currently had nothing new to listen to really. Well, I have the Unit Nemesis still to get back to at some point, but I thought, you know what, I'll pop on The Outlaws instead and hopefully finish.
Get Bambera?
I've not yet still.
Okay.
I'm waiting for Torchwood Double Part 2 to come out next week. So I could do a big order of Bambera, probably Dead Star as well, Time War, and the 2 doubles.
Lovely.
Yeah, and that'll probably be it Big Finish wise until March, maybe April, because the rest I've got on pre-order.
That's a lovely feeling, isn't it, to be sort of that ahead? Yeah.
To sort of feel like, I'm not going to be spending any money when you've already spent it.
But then you find other things to spend on.
Yeah, it's going to go off. I'm sure there'll be a Black Series or something that'll come along. Yeah. I see the fifth brother there behind the Dalek staring at us.
Yeah. Yeah, you can actually see in good quality of things. But yeah.
Well, Hooving with a Small Collection says, "Oh, yeah, the Joe cover has been released. What are your thoughts on it?" Yeah, shall we dive into the news then?
Yeah, let's do a bit of news. I think I've got to let you do the screen.
I've got to load it up today, haven't I?
You've got to do a bit of work today.
Yeah. Where are we? Here we go.
Let's see.
Okay, here we are. So there wasn't actually an article for it, was there? Here we go. So Doctor Adventures: The Return of Joe Jones. You can see when I ordered it.
Oh,
yeah. I'm not sure I should be showing the order number actually.
Just go on the news page. You'll be fine. Yeah. There we go. This is the joys of doing live things.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, we've seen that one.
Yeah.
Where it was on the side here. Here we go. There it is.
There we go.
So the Return of Joe Jones cover.
It feels more like a poster, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Or to me, it feels like the interior of a collection set, funnily enough, since we talked about one of those today.
Yeah, like a booklet. Yeah, like a booklet, like a bit like the Colony in Space one, really. In season 8.
Yeah, it's a very nice picture there. And I mean, you pointed out to me actually the use of both title sequences there, like one either side for the Third Doctor, because this is presumably in between Green Death and the Time Warrior.
I would hazard a guess it will going off that outfit, which is debuted in Green Death.
Yeah.
But I do like your theory that it should be Planet of Spiders Part 6, just to pull on the heartstrings. But I guess, it still could, but it would annoy me that it doesn't match the outfit.
The
story.
That's he can always throw the outfit back on. He's in the TARDIS. He's got the wardrobe there.
I mean, he's been lost in the time vortex for, I think, 25 years at that point.
It's true.
But yeah, really nice cover. Love the seagull.
Oh, yeah. Giving us a good eyeful there.
It feels very sort of Series 10, like, sort of poster I get. And a bit like Series 1 with, like, the TARDIS doors being open.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That. But it also gives off somewhat Capaldi series energy. Maybe it's because of Pertwee. They've both got the similar costumes, haven't they?
Yeah, and the hand gesture as well.
Yeah. One thing I will say is that because it's a recent photo of Katie and like quite a done up composite photo of the Third Doctor, it does sort of stand out next to each other. They don't quite feel as in sync as maybe they could be.
I mean, they've put like a filter over, haven't they, to try and sort of compensate it as such.
Yeah, but it does almost give off the vibes that Katie's standing there with a waxwork of John Pertwee.
I mean, it's no Five Doctors.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as bad as that. It's at least a very good
Yeah.
waxwork. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we have there.
I like the cover a lot. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I like it. It's going to be good having that one in person as well. Has your Time War turned up yet?
No, it hasn't.
No.
No.
It'd be interesting to see how that looks. That's going to be our first look at what the new formatting is going to be like physically, isn't it?
I've heard good things about the release. I've just not got around to listening to it.
No. There's also a Big Finish comedy competition going on. What else we got here? Did you listen to the trailer for Volume 12 of Short Trips?
Yes, I did. I still want to get the Third Doctor one.
Yeah, the Third Doctor one's just all that's really grabbing me at the moment. John Coleshaw doubling up as the Third Doctor and the Brigadier there for a little mini drama, they call it, don't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure if there's enough there to pull me into spending 15 quid on the whole lot.
Yeah, maybe give it a few years and then dip in. Or they could maybe do what they've done with Terror of the Master, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
Which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah. Well, first we had the release of Cass.
Yes.
Have you listened to any of that one yet?
No, none of Cass.
No, I've not dived into it. Well, I've not even bought that one just yet. So
I have it waiting, just not yet.
Yeah. But for now, we have Terror of the Master getting its own separate release now.
A wonderful story. If you don't have the limited edition Masterful, I think you worked out that it's a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, so the only thing that's now exclusive to that limited edition is the behind the scenes. But that's like 50 quid for the Masterful story, which you could get separately for 25 quids. Terror of the Master, which you're now going to be able to get separately for 10 quids. And 2 short trips, which you can get separately for £3 each. So unless you really badly want those behind the scenes, you can now get most of Masterful separately for a fair bit cheaper. I think 14 quid cheaper than the download itself. There's no longer a physical copy of the limited edition.
But 100% recommend Terror of the Master, because I think that was their way of celebrating Delgado's Master.
Yeah, because he's not quite featured in the Masterful story itself, is he? So he gets this little bonus instead, and arguably the highlight of that original release.
I really enjoyed the limited Masterful release. I think that it was just a real treat of a set, really.
Yeah, there's lots of good goodies in there.
And I think this is sort of a nice way of, if you're not ready to dive into like the audio novels yet, whether you think they're not for you, this is a nice sort of, I say short, it's 3 hours, but it doesn't feel like a 3-hour story, really.
Yeah, it's a good like little icebreaker, I suppose, isn't it, for the audio novels? You're not quite diving into the full 6, 7, 7.5 hour long story. But at the same, it's not a short trip either. You are getting a substantial story here. And so with John Coleshaw reading it as well, doing a wonderful job, really, bringing the characters to life as he reads their lines. I think you're going to get a lot out of this one.
You're really spoiled when you have John Coleshaw, because it's literally a full cast story, really, at that point. And the story being in between Green Death and Time War, it's not an area Big Finish have explored. It introduces a Whomobile, which is cool.
Yeah, there's I thought with it being a novel as well, rather than audio drama, you get good bits of internal dialogue, don't you, with the characters? You get to look inside the Brigadier's head and feel like the tension of the characters in that. With Joe now gone, how long's the Third Doctor going to be sticking around for?
I've just been reminded of how excellent a car chase worked.
Oh yeah, that was like end of part 1, isn't it?
Yeah, which you don't think would work in prose, but my goodness, it's amazing. So good, really good story.
Yeah, I think definitely one to go back to sometime. I know now we've sort of got an excuse, even though we're not going to pick it up again because
yeah,
it's just a download. Would you have picked it up if it was a physical copy?
I would have, yeah. To have it on the shelf. If they did like a double release of that and Scourge, yeah, I'd be
that
all
would be
over
a
that.
chunky one. But yeah.
That would be a chunky one, but my goodness, I would be a proud owner of that on the shelf.
Yeah, it's unusual though that this is not quite counted as an audio novel.
Is it in its own little bubble then?
I guess so, because the page it's on is just in the special releases.
All right, okay.
Yeah, so it's just sort of on its own here. Yeah, and yeah, when you look at the interludes, this one is called an audio novel, despite only being 1 hour long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, one final note on Terror of the Master is that, originally it came out 2nd of January 2021, so it's 50 years after Terror of the Autons with the Master's debut. And now, as it gets its standard release sometime in March 2023, that'll be around 50 years after his final appearance in Frontier in Space back in March 1973. So I feel like it's quite fitting how that's worked out with the standard and the separate release. It does, but it all depends whether it's going to release on March 31st or not, which will be the actual 50th anniversary of Frontier in Space Part 6.
Is that Friday, isn't it?
That Friday? Yeah, it will be. So not out of the question.
Or it could release on 3rd of March, my birthday. That'd be nice.
Yeah, you never know.
Not that I'm buying it, but it'd be nice.
I mean, we get the same cover again, but with an updated logo.
Yeah, that's an incentive to buy it again.
I mean, you could just right-click, save image, and you got it.
Mind is blown. Look at Luke with the hacks tonight.
We're pirating off Big Finish here.
We're not, because we have it. It's fine.
Yeah, we've spent our 50 quid or whatever it was on that limited edition, so we're all good.
So,
but yeah, something that is free, sort of, is these upcoming interludes. We got another trio of them for the 5th, 6th, and 7th Doctors. And that'll be coming with... This one will be coming with Conflict of Interest. And apparently features a character from that story.
Okay.
Yeah,
is it the armadillo? Please be the armadillo. Be nice.
But yeah, so Fraser Lee, who wrote the story, said, "Writing within parameters set by John Dorney's brilliant script for Friendly Fire was a fun challenge, and I'd like to thank him for trusting me with his wonderful character, Velar. I hope you enjoy listening to my gobbledygook as much as I enjoyed writing it."
Sounds very like Ish in a way, with gobbledygook and words, because Ish is all about linguistics. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So this one is read by Dan Starkey, who also read the in 5th Doctor interlude last year, I Chameleon.
I think Toby they're all the same readers, I think.
Yeah. Toby Haydock again reading for the 6th Doctor, and Sophie Aldred reading for the 7th here.
I'm curious, like, this might be me being a bit silly. To get the interludes, do you have to just bundle the 5th Doctor stuff, or is it like the big bundle where you get access to it?
No, it's just the release itself.
Okay.
If you just go for Conflicts of Interest or 41, you'll have those interludes as a bonus download.
Because I didn't know if it was like that thing where, because like the subscriber short trips, like if you subscribe to a certain release, you get that short trip.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if it was under the same principle.
No, not this time. It is just get the release and you'll get it as a bonus download.
There we go. Buy from Big Finish. You get the
Yeah.
download instantly there. Not a sponsor, but Big Finish, if you want to sponsor us, please do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, one other thing I noticed that isn't included in any news articles that I've seen is that we've had writers revealed for this Seventh Doctor set, the first one coming out in June, Alison Winter and Alfie Shaw.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
no other details. I don't know if that came out alongside this because they updated it with Catherine Armitage writing Frozen Worlds. But yeah, I mean, that sort of instantly piques my interest a bit more with this set because Alfie Shaw, wonderful writer, and some great stuff. Alison Winter, I've only heard her unit Brave New World story. That was Time Flies, the one with in the lab.
That was good. That was a good one.
Yeah, which is a good one. So yeah, I'm quite excited to have both those writers write for the Seventh Doctor. Don't know whether it's going to be another Harry and Naomi set, another Mel set, an Ace set. Who knows? But yeah, for now we have got writers, so probably safe to assume news isn't far away.
Yeah, the way they're releasing news at the minute, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because they've announced like Fifth Doctor news, and which is now until like September. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can see it.
Did you listen to the New Frontiers trailer?
No, I've not. I've not. Okay.
Quite a good little trailer.
I saw it drop and I was like, I'm working. I can't.
Yeah, that's sort of like the Baker birthday present, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'd
be nice to have got like the individual cover arts as well. That would be nice.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of individual cover arts, we have got some of those.
Oh, hot off the press, this is.
Yeah, like this came out just after we joined this call before we went live. Here we go.
Bear with.
Ooh. Here's the first one. The Colour of Terror.
There we go.
Quite a nice little cover there.
I really like that cover. The new logo works wonderfully.
Yeah, these covers sort of come together a bit more now, the individual Ninth Doctor ones. It's nice having full cast audio drama starring Christopher Eccleston at the top there as well, rather than just being Christopher Eccleston on his own.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, it feels like it's now been brought in more in line with all the other Doctor Who ranges, rather than being its own separate thing, like a different format.
I guess now, but we know Chris is here to stay, so I guess they can.
Yeah, he could be assimilated.
There's uniformity now.
Yeah. And you also got Frank Skinner looking very good on.
I wonder if that's from like one of the Callan photo sheets or
maybe.
one.
Or, they might have grabbed him for this. Who knows? But yeah, it's a very nice cover there. Can I? Let's stop sharing that one and let's start showing the next one. Here we go. We're going from a bit of red to a bit of green here with the Blooming Menace.
Please be Crinoid.
Oh, we got our Vashta Narada at the end, so we'll see how this one goes.
I mean, we're long overdue a Crinoid story. Come on. But yeah, really like that cover.
Yeah, it's a nice little one. It's sort of like the more subtle cover, isn't it, of the set? Like I feel like with a lot of the Ninth Doctor ones, you do get the more simple covers, like Fond Farewell. That was quite minimalist, I suppose, the way to look at it.
It gives me sort of the new series hardback look to it. It feels like it looks like it belonged in like the new series sort of book range, that cover.
Yeah, so there's a 10th Doctor Martha one that has that similar green, doesn't it?
Is it Wet World?
Might be. Yeah. Anyway, here's the finale, Red Darkness. You got a skeleton that looks like it's raging a bit there, or dancing, one of the two. throwing his fists up in anger.
It's an exciting.
I mean, without any flesh to show off an expression, it's hard to tell there.
Yeah.
Yeah, got Adam Martin by the side there, and a very good boy to the left of him.
Yeah.
Or right of him.
We love a good
our
doggo.
left. Oh, looking very cute. It sort of gives me similar vibes to another Vashton story, actually, Night of the Vashton. I think just with the purpley colour.
Yeah, I can see that.
It sort of has a similar... So it's a nice, perhaps, callback to that, while still being its own thing. But yeah, I think... Is that all for Big Finish news?
I think that's all for Big Finish news.
Yeah. But that's not all for news.
Oh?
Because we also had some Doctor Who cast members announced, didn't we?
Yes.
If I can find Doctor Who's Twitter.
I mean, it's been quite the news week, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is this gonna work? Well, we'll just say Anita Dobson and Michelle Greenidge have been cast. They're joining the new series. So, yeah, not really actresses I'm familiar with, but yeah, I'm assuming we'll be seeing them on set very shortly if they've been announced in this way.
Maybe with a giant slug. I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps. It's just exciting to know that filming is continuing, really. The new series
I think
very much in the works.
Ncuti's still filming Sex Education at the minute, so...
They're sort of just getting in what they can. That's probably why he's not been seen on set much, and it's more been Ruby's stuff for the most part.
Unless they're doing it a bit like here's a Doctor Light episode, so they can just keep production moving, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell whether they're doing the special at the moment, the first episode, or just a random episode in the middle, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, we have seen Ncuti in and around Bad Wolf Studios, though, haven't we?
Yes, because
they did that Welcome to the Hooniverse. Home of the Hooniverse. Sorry, picture.
Which is so wholesome. So wholesome.
Cool. The cool guy, welcome to the chat. I can't wait to listen to Time War Cast. Just finished Time War 4 for the first time, and Palindrome is gorgeous. You're a big fan of Palindrome, aren't you, Ben?
Palindrome's one of the best Time War stories. It was what the range sort of needed. It was like, oh yeah, this is what we've been waiting for. I think Time War 4 so far, best Eighth Doctor Time War box set.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe Cass will steal the top spot.
I'm hoping so, because it's getting good reviews.
And we got Tim Foley writing the first story.
Oh, we like Tim Foley.
Yeah, we love a bit of Tim Foley here, so that's a good sign for the start of it, at least. Hello, Ellen. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, thank you. Hello, lurkers. If you're not popping in the chat, we appreciate you for being here. Yeah, it's good to have you all here, talking about season 2.
Yeah, we will get to that very shortly.
Yeah, we will. We just like a little waffle, and then we'll get on to it.
We've got other stuff to talk about too, sadly.
Yeah.
Joe Bowers asks, is Kaleidoscope the only story where the Jodie logo is black instead of orange or white? Only Doctor Who story, isn't it? I think it's been black on some of the Worlds of Doctor Who releases.
Yeah,
well, I think one of the countermeasures ones, like either the Dalek or the Dalek Gambit or the Mavellan something or another. Mavellan Maneuver, I think it is. One of those ones has a black Jodie logo on. But yeah, in terms of the regular physical releases, yeah, that's the only one that's black. Although Night of Vashton actually, when I did that as a DWM exclusive, that had a black logo. So Joe Bowers says, surprised they haven't revealed a logo cover change for the next Classic Doctor's New Monsters yet, though I feel like it would look vastly different with the new logo.
I'm surprised they haven't changed that one. I guess 'cause it's so far in advance.
Yeah, maybe they'll change that like a couple of months out from release instead.
Yeah, we'll probably get a random going cover change of like, oh, we saw this coming in.
Yeah, maybe they won't
Yeah.
even announce that it's changed. Maybe they'll just put out a trailer and update it with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be
see that.
interesting because presumably they'll drop the classic Doctor's New Monsters from it. It'll just be called Broken Memories.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, because that seems to be the format they're going for now with most of the releases at the moment. Cool. Hooving with a Small Collection is excited for the interludes. Yeah, I think I need to stick on iChameleon really, and the Ace one. I did do the Sixth Doctor one because that featured Mel and Hebe, so it fit into the Waterworlds box set at the time.
Even with a Small Collection, I'm now on the Hector stuff in my marathon.
Oh.
So you're nearing the end of McCoy, really, then, I guess. And then where are you going after? You're going to Mag? Is it Mags next after that? I don't know. I can't remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Anita Dobson is best known for EastEnders, but I'm not familiar with the other actress, says Joe Bowers. I think the other actress, let me check her name again, Michelle Greenidge, was in It's a Sin, I believe.
Okay.
Alongside Russell. Yeah. Well, not alongside Russell as such, but under Russell again. So
she might have been like a mom character for one of the main characters in that. I mean, It's a Sin, great show.
Yeah, I think it's quite a large cast as well, anyway, isn't it?
Yes, unless it's not like one of the main gang from the Pink Palace, you'd kind of forget.
Yeah. So with that, a lot of characters don't last all too long. By the very nature of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. Shall we have one last little thing before we get on to talk about season 2?
Yes.
This stream's not quite all things season 2, but it will be in a minute. Because Stylish One, I don't know if you're there lurking, I've not seen you in the chat yet, but I got a message from Stylish One out on Twitter sending me a video he's made, which is learn your ABCs with Ben and Luke and Mel, Big Finish fans. Yeah, I did have a little watch of it, and then I thought, actually, me and Ben should be reacting to this live on stream. And so Ben has not seen it yet, so this is going to be his.
Well, should we save it for
reaction.
the end? Should we save it for the end? So in case Stylish One does pop in, he can, or they can get our reaction.
Yeah, we can save it till the end, I suppose.
We can save it. We can talk about season 2.
Yeah, but there you go. That's now your treat for
hook.
sticking around until the end. You get to see Ben react to ABCs with us.
I'm intrigued by it.
One. Yeah.
Intrigued by it.
I suppose. Now, shall we get on to season 2? I see it's sat behind you there as well.
Yeah, it's ready. It's waiting to enter stage.
Yeah, it's waiting to hear us talk about it.
It's waiting for the panda and the chair.
What did you dive into first when you got this box set?
I went straight for the collectors.
Oh,
that might be a bit of an odd choice.
Not necessarily for you though, because you like. I mean, you can see behind Ben there. He's got his Dalek.
Yeah, there's a lot of merch. Stuff.
Yeah, he's a big merch collector. So
yeah,
I can see. And it looks like it's going to be an ongoing series, doesn't it?
It looks like it'll be an ongoing series, and I think I would like to see it develop a bit more meat to it, to be honest.
It's a very quick one.
Yeah,
22 minutes.
I wanted a bit more from it, to be honest. I don't want to say I was a bit underwhelmed by it, but I was a little bit like, was that it?
Yeah, it was. It's much more about the collectors themselves and their collections rather than the stories behind quite a few of the merch. Like, it was fascinating hearing about the sales of those Zabi and Menoptera badges, or I don't think they even got around to releasing the Menoptera badges in the end of the day, because
I think they did get. I think they did get released because I've seen them on eBay.
Yeah. But certainly the Dalek ones swamped the sales, so they decided not to bother making anything more that wasn't Dalek, really. And that's the most fascinating thing about the Doctor Who merch of the 60s, is that it's more the Daleks merch, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's despite it being Doctor Who, everyone was into the Daleks. I guess they're more easier to manufacture than Billy Hartnell little Rollickin thing. But that's the thing. It didn't cover all the merch from the 60s. So it didn't feel like a sort of a complete guide to it. Like, I feel like if you want a better look at 60s merch, get the Chronicles, what they've been doing, it like a supplement to Doctor Who magazine. They're really good things to get, because it was missing like the sort of Dalek money box and the tin Dalek what Project Enterprise redid in like the early 2000s. And like I think Doctor Who Adventure in Space book, like it wasn't an annual, but it was a storybook. And I've got an idea of how they can push that sort of thing forward, because we've had like a cookbook spin-off, haven't we? Like a little play on that.
Yeah.
Why not do a sort of a Doctor Who Antiques Roadshow for like a decade of Doctor Who merch? Just sort of, you get like an expert talking about the merch. If you want to talk about the value of it, then you can. But I think that would be more of a fun way of doing it, because I feel like it was kind of a watered down going, this was released in the 60s, and it's very surface level stuff, really. Because like for the 1970s, I want to know why the Pink annual's rare, why there wasn't a 1972 annual, stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, that'd be interesting. And hopefully that could be up next if our guess is correct on season 9. I feel like that would be a good place to slot in the next Collectors documentary.
Yeah, but just do it as an Antiques Roadshow. I think that'd be nice.
I suppose I can always come back round to doing something like that maybe one day.
Yeah, like, here's the rarest Doctor Who items you can have in your collection. I don't know.
Yeah, I imagine with the Collectors, that was filmed all at the same time.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah, so that'll be one thing eventually. Brian Smith, hi guys, enjoying the stream. Thank you for joining us, Brian.
Hello.
And Joe Bowers says, were you disappointed that 3 stories were skipped for Behind the Sofas? So, I mean, Behind the Sofas was the first thing I dived into, really. And yeah, Planet of Giants, The Crusades, and the Space Museum were all skipped for Behind the Sofa. Crusades I can understand, because it's missing 2 episodes. There's not really an animation to fill it in. You know, I think we can live without that. But Planet of Giants, given that it is the opener to the series, is a bit of an odd choice to skip.
Yeah, I feel bad for Caroline Forgo, and I swear we did Planet Giant.
Yeah.
I feel like because like they've cut down things, it made poor Maureen O'Brien go, God, Vicky's a bit of a wet lettuce. We're like, no, Vicky was in charge of like the rebellion in Space Museum. You're not getting that. Come on.
Yeah, and that could have been a nice little extra to pop in there.
Yeah, it's a shame that the way they've edited the episodes, and you're not going to make them watch all of these episodes.
No, that's true.
Because I guess they do it all in one day.
Yeah, they must do, which is probably why they only did 6 of them rather than like all 9 or at least 8 if you miss out the Crusade, because there's only so much time you can really get these people to sit down and watch Doctor Who for. But yeah, so it's sort of like you can understand it, but at the same time it's a bit disappointed, especially when you put on top of that the fact that these discs are very bare a lot of the time.
They're wafer thin.
Like Space Museum, which doesn't have a Behind the Sofa, has like 3 special features if you open up a special features menu.
I think this is probably the lightest collection set in terms of special features.
Yeah. I mean, not quite in terms of episodes as well, because you do have 39 of them still. But in the sense that you only have one version of each story, really. Like, Dalek Invasion of Earth does have the updated special effects from its original release. It also has an enhanced soundtrack, which I did listen to and honestly didn't tell a difference with.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I just didn't have the right audio setup or whatever, but yeah, certainly that didn't really add anything to my experience. So yeah, for the most part, like you don't really get anything extra. Whereas when it comes to, like season 24, for example, you've got extended versions of all those stories. And, I'm not expecting that from season 2 because you'd need that deleted scenes and stuff to exist. And we're lucky to have these stories around, let alone deleted scenes from the 60s. So I can understand why that's not an option. But at the same time, when you've just got these standard stories and then not much extra beyond that, it does make it all feel quite surface level. And I think it's also just compounded by the fact that it's 9 discs. Like, this is a chunky thing. It stands out on the shelf.
Yeah.
And yet it's much more, it's more quantity than quantity.
Yeah, you definitely know you have a box set when you have it, because it is this. It does feel like you have a premium thing, really. Yeah, it's a massive thing.
But you could very easily condense it down. Have like probably a 7-disc set. You could probably combine the Crusades and the Space Museum onto 1 disc, and the Rescue and the Romans onto 1 disc.
Yeah, like the VHS was for those two, I think.
Certainly with how much you've got on there.
Yeah. I guess it's just a nice idea that each story has their own moment to shine, really.
Yeah, that's true in some ways. I can see that's very much feels like why this decision was made, so that each story has its own disc. And I feel like some fans will get a bit uppity if each story doesn't have its own disc.
I mean, I did laugh because I think somebody commented when Chris Chapman was doing his Q&A on Twitter, like, will the new series get their own disc each story? I'm like, God, could you imagine how that would work?
It just also, it feels like with the collection, part of the reason we're buying it is so that it's a bit more condensed. It's not taking up as much space on the shelf as it is with the DVDs.
But then you can get the even more slimmer version if you wait.
Yeah.
So that argument's sort of gone at this point.
And they're a consistent width as well, there.
Yeah, that's true. God, that might be a chunky one actually, when that gets a standard release. But I guess that's 2 years down the line.
Yeah. Will there be room for 9 discs on what they have there, or will they have to have a bit of a thicker one there?
Yeah, that'd be a chunky one.
Stephen Noonan. Good evening, gentlemen. I'll be going out quite shortly, but might I point Luke in the direction of a comment/reply? I don't think he's yet read under the Big Finish Collection 22 video. Well, thank you for dropping by, Stephen. I hope you have a good night, and I will be sure to check that out at some point.
Have a lovely evening.
Yeah.
First Doctor himself has joined us for season 2. Marvellous.
Yeah, there we go.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Sheer poetry, my boy.
Very fitting indeed. Oh, GWF Doctor Who, my favourite from this season is Planet of Giants. What's your favourite? We will be getting to our favourites at some point.
Yeah, we will. We're going to do a tier list. We're going to do a tier list, and that will decide our favourite. Well, yeah, be interesting. But yeah, Planet of Giants, interesting choice. It's got a lot of merit to it, I'll say that.
Yeah. Have you watched the extended version of it, GWF Doctor Who fan? Or recreated extended version, isn't it? The original, The Urge to Live and Crisis.
The Urge to Live is a constant title. I like it.
I love the what they named that making of, where it's like finding the urge to live.
Yeah.
I just want,
that makes a nice meme. Yeah.
Yeah, since you quite like that and GWF fan, and you have watched he says it's very good as well. Yeah. I wonder whether you'd prefer it to have been the original four-parter as planned, or if you feel like part of the reason you like it so much is that it's condensed down, if that affects your enjoyment at all, or if you're just happy with either. Gary B, they'll probably animate the Crusades later, then you can replace that disc. Didn't someone once ask for that to be an option, like leave a disc tray free for any future?
I think they did it for like a James Bond like 50th box set, didn't it? And it was like the latest Bond film. There was a space you could put it in, but you had to buy like the vanilla DVD to put it in the box set. So yeah, it's not an unheard of thing.
Nah. But, I mean, perhaps Crusades could be animated one day. I think the reason it hasn't been up until now is because of just how expensive it is.
Yeah.
To do with all the different costumes and stuff and lots of characters. I think that was why it was ruled out of getting an animation back when they were doing the original run of animations, when they could do, 2 episodes out of a story, like they did for the Moonbase, for example.
Yeah.
Hello, Stylish One.
Hello.
Sorry, mate. No worries.
No, we're early, probably.
That's very true. We actually started nearly on time for once. But yeah, we've talked about your little video, Stylish One, but we've not watched that yet. We're saving that till the end now. So yeah, you're here so you can watch Ben's initial reaction to that because he's not yet watched it.
Very excited.
Yeah. The Toy Maker's Cat. Brilliant name. I think stuff does make more sense with all 4 parts, but with vast amounts of time dedicated to mapping out a notebook, I think it's wise it was cut down. That makes sense. I mean, it's a funny one because in part 1, you feel like something's been cut when you've got the scene of Ian reuniting with Barbara Susan and the Doctor. After he's been like thrown around in the briefcase a bit.
Yeah.
Like their reunion happens off screen, weirdly enough. The Crusade audio is one of the poorest quality. Yeah, that would make sense as well. It doesn't sound all that great. I think it has been restored a good deal for this collection, but yeah, that probably lines up as well with why perhaps it hasn't been animated.
I mean, the picture qualities, the restoration's marvelous for it on this set.
Oh yeah, the lion, like the fact that they were able to remove a very obvious line that was there on the Lost in Time set. That's gorgeous. I mean, which story do you think comes off best from the restoration work?
I say Dalek Invasion of Earth, to be honest.
I think it's either that or the Time Meddler. They are both beautifully done. You can really see the trees in the background of the Time Meddler now, which maybe doesn't quite work in its advantage because you can tell it's much more of a set with a background now, but nevertheless, it's great seeing it in such high quality again.
Yeah, I think Dalek Invasion of Earth, because it was an early DVD, it probably has the most to improve, as it were.
Yeah, it's got the most distance to go in terms of where technology has reached when it comes to restoring these products. And it does look gorgeous. I mean, the whole season does, really. It's amazing that we're at this point where we can get Blu-ray level of quality when it comes to a 1960s season of television.
Which is probably better quality than some early episodes, really.
Yeah.
In terms of like the restoration. Because like if you look at like Abominable Snowman episode 2, how night and day that looked on like the Blu-ray. It just looked incredibly sharp.
Stephen Noonan, Behind the Sofa. I asked Wendy Padbury about it in Chicago, and she said because the eps are edited and they're talking over them, she has no idea what the F is going on.
It's probably because she's busy arguing with Janet as well.
Yeah, that's also true. It's funny when you sort of hear them criticize it a bit and you think they sort of ask a question about, wait, how have we got here? and it's not necessarily a criticism of the story; it's a criticism how it's been edited down. Yeah, that's what it's all just meant to be fun, really, isn't it? For us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a light-hearted thing, and it's just nice to have that option of Doctor Who actors basically doing Doctor Who Gogglebox. You know?
Yeah. I mean, Wendy and Janet, like you say, they are very entertaining as a duo, aren't they?
And you've just got sort of Sarah Sutton there just to go, I don't know
Just
what's
to
going
balance
on.
it out.
You know, yeah, just sort of be a mediator.
Yeah. I would prefer to have kept it because I like the insecticide idea and, of course, the shrinking idea. Yeah, but it's ironic, isn't it? The story got shrunk as well as the cast.
Yeah, yeah.
The Toy Maker's Cat. Thanks, Stephen. Always wondered why the cast seemed to miss stuff that is explained.
I mean, they definitely spoon-fed info. It's like, oh, here we have such and such. And it's interesting that they sort of all have sort of the same moment of going, oh, that's such and such actor. What's he from? And like you'll cut to the next sofa crew and they'll be having the same chat as well.
Yeah, it's wonderful how it all works together. Right. One thing I found quite entertaining was Karen Ann Ford pointing out Kukulian looking like an electrified pussycat.
Right.
And for some reason, now I instantly saw that, and now I can't get that out of my mind as an image.
You can't unsee it.
Kukulian is ruined for me. Thank you, Carol.
What a lovely name, like Aquilian.
Or Cocky Licking, as Ian said at one point. That was an option for one of these tier names. We'll get to the tier list in a bit, but I was debating in my head, should I call one of these tiers Cocky Licking Good? I was like, no, I'll be good.
We're a family-friendly channel.
Yeah. A bit late now, I've already said that, but yeah. I'm so sorry. Almost had a spit take there.
Dear, oh dear. Oh dear.
They have
don't know how
the
we can
original
move on
footage
from
for Abominable, hence the clear HD transfer. Yeah, that's one that does look amazing. Abominable Snowman, episode 2. Stylish one says the cut down Planet of Giants was responsible for the great and interesting mission to the unknown, so worth it. Yeah, it gives us an interesting little Doctor Who sidestep, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was produced right at the end of season 2's production block, I believe. It was done like with Galaxy 4, wasn't it? And then they went on holiday before coming back for the Mythmakers.
Yeah, where everyone was pretty much getting threatened to be fired.
Yeah. Gerance Bowman, how much of The Wheel in Space episode 1 is animated? Yeah. GWF fan, Doctor Who has answered for us, about 10 minutes or more. Yeah, it's about a solid half of it. It's the half that is just the Doctor and Jamie on the spaceship. So you get a complete storyline there, but then meanwhile you've got stuff going on the wheel itself with Zoe and the crew there that is not animated currently. Hopefully they'll get back around at some point.
It was more like a pilot for I think Marie Walsh to take over the animation line, and I think she is now. If the rumours are true about Smugglers and Underwater Menace, but what do we know?
We shall see.
We shall see.
60th year. Come on, gotta give us something.
Oh yeah. Missing episodes, please. That'd be nice.
Peter Davison hitting himself with the pillow while watching Time Flight is the best part of that story. Also, which Behind the Sofa has, oh, that's terrible meme. I think that's
Paradise Towers.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, is it when Pex dies?
Yeah, I think it might be.
Because I think Davo likes Pex because Pex lives.
Would you like to play that since? Can you play it?
Can I play it? I think I can play it, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
Just for context, for those who don't know what on earth we're on about.
Oh no, you've done it now.
I
don't know if I can do it. Oh,
it might not be an option.
Hang on, Can I add my? I'm gonna do it another
Wait,
way.
can I? Oh no, I can only upload video files. I can't.
Give me a second.
Yeah, okay.
Is that gonna work? I don't know if it's gonna work. Have I got a swipe? I don't know how technology works. This is what happens. I don't think I can do it. No. No. Let's see.
Oh,
I'm
we're getting
sorry.
comments now.
No.
Stephen
don't know
Noonan,
if
an
I do.
argument with Janet, as you say, Luke. They should have their own spin-off series. That'd be
Oh.
entertaining as a little special feature.
Just get them doing like a weekend with Janet and Wendy.
Yeah.
That would be nice. That'd be yeah. Right. Let's see if I can do it this way. Talk amongst yourselves.
Toy makers.
It probably won't.
characters. So, what do people feel about the Web Planet? I think it's overly ambitious for its time and definitely too long, but is it as bad as people often think? I know it puts my mum to sleep every time. Well, I can somewhat see why. But, are we ready?
I don't know. Is there
We've
another
got two
person?
Bens here
I
at the
don't know.
moment as he
Don't know if
attempts
that will
this.
play.
All this for 2 seconds of Davison.
This is
things
the
we do for
dedication
Peter.
I have.
Oh, that's terrible.
There we go.
There we go.
Context for those
There's
who do not know.
context.
And also entertainment for us.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, Web Planet will get to that in greater detail soon. Fun fact, according to an official book, Iona Rescue is one of 6 stories where everyone except the Doctor and Companion dies. Yeah, it probably would be, wouldn't it? Poor Sandy.
Still not over that death. Probably the most heartbreaking death in Doctor Who, along with like Half Peck.
No, even the stuff that was animated was cut down to remove the food machine and all references to Victoria. Also, the Wheel crew actually only feature in less than 5 minutes of Wheel Part 1. There we go. Looking forward to the new animations because they are both from my favourite season. Although odd choice to do the Smugglers and not the Highlanders, but hey, I'm not complaining. I wonder if maybe there's just less cast members in the Smugglers. Or maybe they just want to do a Hartnell and a Troughton so that you got a bit of both for the 60th year.
Yeah, I imagine that's the thinking behind it all.
Yeah. And probably it's being done by 2 different studios as well. So maybe they'll then move the Underwater Menace crew onto the Highlanders after that. Yeah, we shall see. You've made a friend of Stylish One there, GWF fan, because he is also a big fan of season 4.
That's a wonderful thing, isn't it? The power of Doctor Who, that we can make friends and share our love.
Yeah, I look Smugglers too, but it isn't looked upon too favourably. I know you're not a fan of it from what you've seen, have you? I haven't experienced the story at all, so I'm sort of looking forward to giving it a go, but we shall see.
I mean, maybe it'll benefit with visuals. I did the soundtrack, like 10 years ago. I've not gone back to it since. So, I don't
been a
know.
while.
So, yeah, I could have matured and get the metatextual meaning of it all now.
Yeah. It'll be interesting with the Highlanders having a pure historical for Troughton.
Can I be honest? That's not great.
Like
I like historical stories, but it's not that exciting.
No, at least it's Jamie's first story. It deserves to be on the shelf for that.
Yeah, it deserves for that, but it's not one way you're like, gosh, I want to revisit that quickly. Yeah.
But maybe animation will bring it to life in a new way for you.
Craig
That's one that
Atula.
only has about 5 seconds of survivor footage, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, while we're on the topic of historicals, I have a question of sorts to put to you and to people in the chat.
Okay.
So, a season 2 story
Okay.
set in the past where the Doctor and Vicky are rubbing shoulders with royalty and high up members of society, while
Where's this going?
Ian and Barbara are having quite an ordeal seeing the rougher side of history. Barbara ends up captured, and Ian has to rescue her at the end of the story. Which season 2 story am I talking about?
Royalty.
Well, just upper class members of society. The creme de la creme.
The creme de la creme. It's got to be one or two, isn't it, really?
Exactly. That's what I mean. Both the Crusades and the Romans.
Have the
Watching
same.
them back to back, I realised how similar they are in some ways, in terms of just how the cast is split up and what they're up to.
Well, Chatterton Crusade.
I say, yeah, with royalty, with Emperor, it's sort of like slightly different from royalty, isn't it?
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's a similar position. So it's just funny how those stories worked out. But I feel like they do both justify themselves in that. Romans is a much more comedic take on such an idea. But, yeah, it was just it was funny while I was going through the Crusades after binging through it, thinking, haven't I seen this format done before? Yeah. Oh, the Romans isn't a monarchy though. The real Nero and Romans would have you executed for that. The hated royalty for a bit. Yeah, it's just more of a general high up position in society.
Okay. Right. All good.
Yeah, certainly. Through the phrase of royalty, it does distinguish it to the Crusades. But nevertheless, in both stories, you've got Hartnell up in court rubbing shoulders with the best of the best. Well, as they see themselves, at least.
Yeah.
Shall we load up a tier list now and get to talking about... or should we talk about the In Conversations quickly?
Yes, we can talk about the In Conversations and I guess Flight Through Eternity and the David Whittaker documentary.
That's the one I haven't seen, the David Whittaker one. I knew I forgot one.
I can say the same. I've not watched it yet, but I imagine it will be the same as like the Peter R. Newman one, Sarah Liz Sladen. Yeah. I imagine it will be the same sort of feel sad thing. But yeah, probably a great documentary.
Yeah, that'll be one to get around to at some point. Talking 99% Things, season 2.
Yeah.
So, Flight Through Eternity. It's a bit of a empty, similar to the box set itself, it's a bit of an empty making of, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it probably would have been benefited maybe being in 2 parts.
Yeah, it's 50 minutes, and some of the stories you don't really get any details on. It's not quite like what we had with, there's that Troughton one, I think it's Second Time Around.
Yeah.
Where it goes quite in depth on on each story. Like with Flight Through Eternity, I believe, there's certainly one story where they don't even talk about the story itself. They talk about some random other side. I think The Rescue is just about Maureen O'Brien's casting. There's no talk about The Rescue as a story. I think Space Museum doesn't really have anything on it either.
Yeah, which is a shame, really. Because I was surprised how much Caroline Forward features within it, considering she's only in 2 stories of that season.
Yeah.
They sort of interweave her stuff quite well.
Yeah, that worked out well. I mean, you got Peter quite early on as well, Peter Purves, talking about how he watched certain bits of it. Yeah. I think he was there criticising the Dalek coming out of the water, wasn't he?
Peter, this is one of the greatest moments of television Doctor Who.
Oh, I remembered how he said he didn't think it was as good as the original Dalek story.
I guess personal preference.
Yeah, that was his contribution there.
Oh, dear.
Ooh, that Second Time Around documentary is the best thing about the Crotons DVD. I like they used the Only to World segment to talk about missing episodes. Yeah, it's funny how that ages, isn't it? But yeah, Second Time Around, that is a brilliant behind-the-scenes feature. I love going back to that one. Flight for Eternity felt like it belonged on the DVD range. It really should have included guest cast in it. Yeah, I think certainly with this, it does feel like there was less of a budget for this set.
I think the budget probably went on the restoration. I think.
Yeah, or on a ninth disc.
Yeah.
Anyway, in conversations now.
Do you know what? I would have liked this in on the In Conversation.
What?
This is a wild card, but I think this was the last chance to do this one. Julian Glover.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, because we've already had season 17.
Yeah, I think that would have been cool.
I mean, maybe they did ask, but he just declined.
I think he'd do it. He's at every Comic-Con like Colin. So I feel like he'd be down for it.
Yeah. I suppose it's just the thing of he's not really known for Doctor Who as such.
I mean, City of Death, well-loved story.
It could have brought in quite a lot more buyers, actually. People might have been buying the season 2 set who aren't even Doctor Who fans just to watch Matthew Sweet talk to Julian Glover.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, with what we did get, I was more excited for William Russell, but came away enjoying the Maureen O'Brien one much more. I was surprised by how much I got out of that one.
I mean, I've only watched the William Russell one, but I found the William Russell one a bit uncomfortable to watch.
No, I mean, it was done back in 2018, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like there wasn't really questions for like William Russell because it was more like, do you remember this? Didn't you do that? I was like, yeah, like there, and you can see that the man sort of struggling there.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Like, I'm glad we have it, you know, because I think it would be one of those things going, oh, I wish we had a conversation with William Russell. But I think that I don't think I gained anything new from the Doctor Who section. I think I gained more about it in like the personal history of like him working in the army and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that was interesting. It's funny hearing about how he'd been in Lydia, wasn't it? And then eventually does do Crusades there as well. Yeah, finding out that Jacqueline Hill worked in a chocolate factory.
Cadbury's.
That should be a little clip. We should get
that. Should be. The amount of times we use that like privately as a joke, it's wonderful.
Yeah. It's sweet, the William Russell one, but certainly I feel like I got a lot more out of the Maureen O'Brien one. She's very candid in it.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
There's a good bit of humour in there as well, but also, it does go to some interesting places. Hearing about her more Catholic upbringing and how that then influenced her with William Hartnell, working with him, and a lot of his more uncomfortable tendencies. In fact, well, it's funny hearing Matthew Sweet sort of trying to tiptoe around the issue like that. He'll sort of call it uncomfortable tendencies and stuff. And then Maureen will be straight up. She'll say, oh, yeah, he was racist. He was homophobic. But, she says she was taught to hate the sin but love the sinner. And so that was how she was able to work with him and actually be quite fond of Bill despite hating most of what he said and believed, it seemed. So, yeah, it was certainly fascinating hearing that from her, and then also just hearing loads of other stuff from her life as well. So, Maureen O'Brien interview, great stuff. And I think there was also during the William Russell one, there's a hint that they've already recorded the Carol Ann Ford one.
I imagine that's got to be season 1, isn't it, for sure?
Yeah, that'll be along with that one. But yeah, like Matthew Sweet mentions while talking to while talking with William Russell, he sort of calls back to something that Carol said, and he sort of, the way he says it implies that they maybe even did it the same day or something. Yeah, he sort of like very much implies it was another in conversation. So that should be coming with season 1. Because they held on to this one for 5 years.
Yeah.
4 years, 2018 to 2022. Because that's how it opens up as well. It's London, 2018.
Yeah, not London, 1965.
Cadbury's.
Cadbury's. Oh.
Where? Shall we get started on the...
Yeah, let's do tier list.
now.
Let's do tier list. We're sticking to talking about season 2. We're doing it.
Yeah. Here we are.
Add that to the stream. Bada bing.
There we go. So yeah, the top tier here we have masters of this tier list, the very best of the best stories, or story perhaps we will see is going to go here, or maybe nothing will go there. You never know.
Could you imagine? That'd be horrible.
A roaring
Cadbury's.
success taken from the Romans there. I suppose I could have also gone for exquisite from William Hartnell as well. But yeah, we've gone for a
It's absolutely fabulous.
Sheer poetry, my boy, is the third tier down. And now we're getting into the more negative stuff. It is forbidden to put stories on this tier. Losing the urge to live, and finally deserves to be a couple of burnt cinders in Spain. There we have it. So, shall we start with Planet of Giants?
Yes.
The first story of this season. And I mean, these two were recorded at the end of season 1, really, weren't they? It was like 52 weeks worth of stories, and then they held these ones back to kick off the second season. Yeah, I mean, what do you make of Planet of Giants?
Planet of Giants, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because it was going to be like the first story of Doctor Who. And
yeah, it's an idea that was kicking around for a good while.
I just don't think it worked. It would have worked as a first story for the show.
It would have worked as a first story for the show.
I don't think it would have.
No, I don't. It wouldn't have got the whole space and time thing.
No,
because the idea would be that it would shrink and then they'd go around Coal Hill, wouldn't they? I think it works much better that it's saved until a bit later when you've got the established rule of time travel going, and now suddenly the doors have opened during flight, something's gone wrong. I mean, that's quite a nice little explanation for how they get shrunk. But yeah. It's funny how little you feel like you've lost in part 3, though.
Yeah, because I did sort of the reconstruction part 3 and 4, and I think it works best as a 3-parter. Personally, I think the set design's wonderful.
Yeah, it's very well done how they jump between the human scale side of the story and the TARDIS team side of the story, isn't it?
Yes.
It's also probably Doctor Who's first ecologically aware story. Them dealing with, just someone who's out for money, really, and is sacrificing the environment in exchange for money.
Is it one of those stories where if the Doctor and gang didn't appear, the consequences would have been the same?
Perhaps. I mean, did them leaving the tabs under the phone have any effect?
I don't know. Was it just for them to get like the attention that something's not quite right? But then,
I mean, the idea.
They still have to put a call through to London to get there to be the pretend inspector.
Yeah, because the idea of the explosion was that would draw a police officer in, but the thing is, a police officer was already on the way there.
Yeah,
because they were suspicious. So yeah, perhaps that wouldn't have affected it. But yeah, not that it necessarily needs to. I think, like I say, the way they jump between the two sides of the story works very well. And I think it just gives something a bit different and something quite a bit more 60s. It's always like Avengers-esque, isn't it?
Yes, it does have that. I don't want to say cheesy quality, but it does have a nice sort of element of cheese.
Mm. Yeah. Where I suppose sort of leans into more where season two's going, isn't it? It's like a sign of things perhaps to come. But because this is Susan, because this is still recorded as part of season one, it has a bit more of a serious tone to it.
Yeah, because it's interesting that I guess all of the Hartnell era, there's no real set tone. It's still trying to find its feet. It's the little show that could, and I think season two really says that we've got a small budget, but we're going to make it work. Like Web Planet, Planet Giants, incredibly ambitious stories for this little show.
Yeah. Funnily enough, somewhat similar as well. In fact, that they're both in worlds of giant insects.
Yes, I thought, is this like a prequel to the Web Planet?
Yeah.
When
The
this
fly
first turned down
in Planet of Giants, though, that is very well done.
it's better than the Green Death one.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? But I say it's got to do less, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And like the cat, I remember that being like a big thing on like fan art, and I think the VHS cover it was a big thing. And then watching the story, it's like a tiny thing in the story.
Yeah, I suppose it gets to be the cliffhanger of part one, though.
I that's what I like about the story, that it takes like the mundaneness of like water going down a sink, and that's your cliffhanger.
Yeah, there's something. It's both amusing and also terrifying in fact that it's sort of when you stop to think about it, it becomes quite funny.
Yeah.
But in the moment, you are quite drawn into the drama there, aren't you?
Yes.
But where would you put Planet of Giants?
I would put it maybe third tier.
Sheer poetry, my boy. Yeah, I was thinking that as well. Because it's not a bad way to spend, just over an hour of your time?
Yeah.
An hour and a quarter?
Yeah.
Yeah. But certainly, it doesn't feel quite as good as it maybe could have been. But here we go. Dalek Invasion of Earth now. We're going to be saying goodbye to Susan in a minute.
Luke, just take it away. This is yours.
Yeah,
this is yours.
I'm sort of quite blinded by nostalgia on this one, aren't I? Because this was... I still cannot remember whether it's my first or second Classic Who story, but it's certainly my first Classic Who DVD. And, yeah, first experience of William Hartnell as the Doctor. Always really enjoyed it for that. Loved the atmosphere, particularly in part one. Just how well the abandoned London is realised. And creepy about the warehouse and such. The music in this story. Just... There's lots of nostalgia here for me. But I can also see that it does have a fair few flaws as well. Yeah. How do you feel about this one?
I unlike Peter Purvis, I prefer it to the Daleks.
Oh, I prefer the Daleks, actually.
Okay. I think it's not as good as the Cushing film, but I think this story gets things... It does things better than the Cushing film, like London. With the iconography. I think there's a lot of iconography with this story, which you can't help but fall in love with it, really.
Yeah. It's Doctor Who's first blockbuster as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, the way the stuff shot at the mines, for example, it's something that you've never seen in Doctor Who before, because it was all very studio-bound up to this point. And now they're getting to do a little bit from location footage. It was funny, I can't remember where Carol Ann Ford said it, but I remember she mentioned that her only bit of location filming ended up being by the Thames, and her main memory was the smell of it.
Silver's dead body in the river.
Well, that's why it's forbidden to put them there.
It's a floater, Gov. It's a floater.
Wouldn't like that serve of onions.
Oh, good old Talons.
I mean, when it's a Robot Man, he comes built with cutlery.
Yeah. Dear.
Where would you say roaring success for this one?
I would say so. I think that it's a nice sort of precursor to Terry Nation Survivors, really.
Yeah, it does have, with him flirting with the idea of a post-apocalyptic world, isn't it?
And I like the idea of bringing the Daleks to us, as it were.
It's the perfect follow-up to the original, isn't it? In that sense. Yeah, and then we come off of that to something very different with a two-parter. One of very few in the show, and this is the only one up until after this. It's Sontaran Experiment next.
Goodness, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, on that same note, three-parter wise, Planet of Giants is the only three-parter until we get to the Two Doctors, but that's more of a six-parter really in terms of length.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it's the only 25-minute three-parter until what's that Seventh Doctor story called? Delta and the Bannerman comes along. Yeah, which is kind of funny to think about, really. But yeah, two-parters, The Rescue. This is more of a character-focused piece, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so. But there's still some nice bits of action and peril there and mystery.
Yeah, it sort of has that, not Indiana Jones inspired, because Indiana Jones isn't a thing yet. But, you know, those classic adventure serials that inspired Indiana Jones probably had some effect on this. When you've got the creeping through the cave and you've got those spikes coming out of the walls and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a nice little pocket rocket of a story.
Yeah. I mean, also you've got at the end of it,
The showdown.
The showdown. Brilliant performance from William Hartnell there.
One of his best moments, I think, as the Doctor.
Yeah, him standing up to this villain. And it also has sort of a Raiders of the Lost Ark ending in the way that almost they could easily be the ghosts of the natives, couldn't they? Although it seems like it is the actual Didoans. But the way they're treated is very mysterious, isn't it? They don't speak, they just advance on Kukulian, or Bennett, as he's revealed by this point, and send him falling down a hole.
Yeah. I think that set is just marvellous, considering it's only 5 minutes in the story.
Yeah, it's like the court, isn't it, where they pass judgment.
Brilliant. Sandy, what a character.
Hardly knew her.
We hardly knew her for. Get that beats K9 for me.
It is funny when you look at the how morality of Doctor Who has perhaps changed there, and that the Doctor is very forgiving of Barbara for he's defending Barbara to Vicky, isn't he? Saying, well, anyone might have shot this scary looking thing that meant no harm. And then cut forward, 40 years to Aliens in London, and you've got the Ninth Doctor berating a soldier because the pig was scared. It is pretty much the same scenario, really, in terms of Barbara. Or at least when Barbara was doing it, she wasn't thinking she was defending herself. She was trying to save Vicky. But it's just amusing when you look at those two side by side. Yeah, it's a nice little story. I think it does what it needs to do for a two-parter to introduce a new companion.
I think that if you're going to show a person who's not familiar with the first Doctor, then this is probably the story.
Yeah, I suppose it would be a good way to do that, especially because it is quite a short story as well. And I suppose in the way that you're introducing a new fan to it as Vicky's being introduced to the Doctor. So yeah, that works quite well. I'd probably say it's another sheer poetry, my boy. Would you go Roaring?
I'd go Roaring Success, to be honest.
I'll let you have that one.
Oh, thank you. You've got the power this time, so
yeah. For a change. The Romans now. No, I'm not actually too sure what you think of this one, so this could be my chance to even the playing field after letting you have the rescue. But Tell me, what
Okay.
do you think of the Romans?
It's all right. It's a good bit of fun. It's you've got to watch it as a carry on. I think.
You just got to have a good laugh with it, really, haven't you?
Yeah, if you sort of make it serious, but Nero's basically trying to Barbara, not fun.
Close your eyes, and Nero will give you a big surprise.
Literally,
Is an actual line of Doctor Who dialogue.
Yeah, the Troughton era nearly did a story in a similar vein in the form of Prisoners in Space.
Yeah, I think we can all be
But
grateful that one didn't go ahead.
yeah, but I think the Romans, I think, is a wonderful story exploring Hartnell and Vicky, First Doctor and Vicky.
Yeah, it's nice that they get paired up for this one.
And I think this, you can tell William Hartnell's having a lot of fun with it, and I think that's what becomes quite infectious with it because he's just firing on all cylinders, being Maximus Battalion.
Yeah, that's a good little running joke, isn't it? When he keeps forgetting his name. There's a wonderful moment in part one where Ian is talking to the Doctor, and the Doctor sort of like says his name wrong, and then or Barbara says his name, and the Doctor's like, "Oh, yeah." Barbara corrects the Doctor when he says Ian's name wrong, and then the Doctor says to Ian, "Oh, Barbara's calling you." I butchered that moment entirely there with my description, but
I mean, it always sort of throwed me because obviously watching Rescue, then the Romans, you'd be like, how they've got in this villa, how has this worked? But there's a book for that by Antium.
it's nice that there is a little gap there, though, in terms of the story, because when you're watching it going through, there's not really much rest or enjoyment for the characters to have. So it's good to show that there is a bit of downtime while traveling in the TARDIS as well.
Yeah.
But then the Doctor gets a bit bored and goes out looking for an adventure anyway, so heads off to Rome.
When in Rome, you burn it.
Yeah, pretty much. Or inspire Nero to burn it at the very least.
Yeah. Wonderful story. Wonderful story.
Yeah. It's great having Barbara whacking Ian over the head while trying to whack the slave trader instead.
It's great stuff. And Hartnell getting fisticuffs.
Yeah, I suppose that's the first real sign of the Doctor being a fighter, isn't it?
Yeah.
And sort of not quite Venusian Aikido yet.
No, it's kind of, I'll have you, young man. Whack.
So it's a fight you want, is it?
It's just, one of Hartnell's best performances, isn't it, really?
I love how Vicky is absolutely terrified of everything going on, and the Doctor's just bemused by it all the death and destruction raining around him. He's just laughing. He's having a good old giggle.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'd say roaring success or sheer poetry, my boy. Where would
I think it's going to be roaring success.
There we go. I mean, it's where that line came from, so it feels.
I think it's fitting. Yeah.
Web Planet now. This is one of the more controversial ones, isn't it?
Beep boop boop beep beep boop boop. Beeping intense.
Oh, we are Optera.
I know, that could have been Peter Purvis in there.
Yeah. The Optera are very adorable. And this whole story sort of feels a bit adorable, doesn't it?
You can see that there'd be some nice plushies from it if it was RTD.
But also just in the way it works, you sort of just want to pat it on the head for trying.
I think that's the thing. You really want to admire the creation, the ambition, because I think 60s Doctor is the most ambitious the show has ever been. Because it's throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks.
It's just a bit of a shame that it did this for 6 weeks rather than 4. Because the story drags a bit.
Can I make a confession?
Go for it.
I've never finished it.
Point proven.
Yeah.
I mean, when you do get to the end, you have sort of an awkward scene where everyone ends up in the center facing the Animus, including Ian, who just sort of digs his way up at the last minute, but doesn't really get to do anything. It's just sort of you reunited the cast, but for no real reason. Like, yeah, it would have happened the same way whether Ian dug his way up or not. So that just feels a bit awkward, story-wise. It's like you've had a whole subplot there that hasn't necessarily gone anywhere.
Yeah.
But I do wonder what he would have been doing otherwise, because that subplot was actually added by Richard Martin, I believe. But he wanted something else for the story to do, and so he was the one who created the Optera.
I mean, maybe the Target book fleshes things out, but I don't know.
Yeah, you want to admire it for what it does, but
yeah, I think that's the thing.
there's
a heart there. It's just it doesn't quite land in the right place.
Yeah, it only gets it so far. Would you say it's forbidden to put stories on this tier? Or are you losing the urge? You're losing the urge to stay awake at the very least.
I mean, I've not finished it, so I don't know what that says.
Yeah, how far have you got?
I've got to like 4 episodes deep.
That's more than half at least.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I'll put it is forbidden to put stories on this list because I feel like that's a bit too low down for it. I do. I'll have moments where I'm like really engaged with the story, then others where I'm just totally switched off with it.
I like it when the Zarbi come on, but then you get sort of a headache after a while. And then you just like, I can't see because of the Vaseline.
Yeah, look, Vaseline smeared on it. It's sometimes a bit awkward. Like you'll have faces that are very blurry on camera. Oh, here we are now, the Crusade. This is an interesting one because at some points it feels like the it's no longer Doctor Who.
It's more interesting than historical characters.
Yeah. Now it's very good writing, like how real the characters feel at the start of this story. And I feel like it's indicative of that in the fact that we don't start off in the TARDIS for a change. Like we instead start off with King Richard and his men in the forest, and then the TARDIS crew just happen to wander out. They're sort of, you could tell they don't have enough lines to keep them going because they're just looking around the forest a bit bemused,
like waiting for Q.
Yeah, I mean, so they get a bit more character as it goes on, at least. But yeah, certainly for the start, yeah, it is much more about King Richard and his men for that little bit, and there's a wonderful banter there between them. They feel like real people for a change, rather than just historical characters. So I can rate it for that. And then the argument between Richard and Joanna, that is some very powerful performing from Julian Glover and Jean Marsh there. Again, it doesn't quite feel like it belongs in Doctor Who, but it always feels too good for Doctor Who. There's a lot for the actors to sink their teeth into here with this one. But
it feels like it's too advanced for 60s telly.
Yeah. Plot-wise, it also feels like it's a bit all over the place. I'd probably say it's an sheer poetry, my boy.
Yeah, I think it's on the same level.
Yeah, I think it has its enjoyable moments. It's got this awkward plot with that tailor who's stolen all his clothes.
Yeah,
like that. So it's a nice little gag in episode 1, but then they see it lasts until about episode 3, and you think, why is this guy still hanging around? Why is he still relevant to the story?
Oh dear.
Space Museum now. Another more experimental one, particularly in part 1. Part 1's wonderful.
Yes, I think it peaks there, like the Sensorites.
But I thought, on the bright side, only being 4 parts, it doesn't drag on like the Sensorites ends up doing.
I really like the Space Museum, actually.
I do too. I think. I mean, I saw it was the lowest Hartnell ranked in that 50 years of the show ranking that
Really?
DWM did.
I disagree. I don't think
Yeah.
it's that bad.
And it's wonderful having a Dalek in the museum.
It's a nice
That's
little
nice.
bit of foreshadowing going, look, guys, something's going to happen. And then you get the wonderful ending of the Daleks there, and you're like, I just want to see the chase now.
Yeah, it made sense for them to release these two together on in a box set for DVD. I feel like it maybe could have done with a bit more humor. I think the script was originally written to be a bit more humorous, and then a lot of that was like cut out while they were making it, and it was played a bit more straight than it should have been.
You do get bits of humour, like you say, the Dalek, and like the interrogation when you see the Doctor sort of playing around with like inside his mind.
Yeah,
Like
it's
the
sort of like a
swimsuit.
all forward to what the Mind Probe will end up being, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And I'll always sort of associate these two stories as a pair in the same way that Frontier in Space and Planet of the Daleks are a pair, because I got the two box sets, Dalek War and then this box set at the same time. And yeah, both Dalek doubles in a way, even though these two stories aren't really related to each other. They do feed into each other quite well. I mean, the space-time visualizer that plays quite a big role at the start of the chase is from the Space Museum itself, so they are quite interlinked in that sense. Yeah, it's a decent bit of 60s telly.
I just think it gets a little bit messy in the middle.
So you got that moment where they're gassing the museum, haven't you? But only Barbara's really in there.
Yeah.
But then it feels like, shouldn't Vicky also be in the museum? But I suppose the armory's separate from that. And I suppose the governor's office is also separate from that. But it feels like it should all just be one building, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all. It just seems like that's there to keep Barbara out of the action for a little bit. But yeah, I'd probably say it's another sheer poetry, my boy.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think that it's one what you should go back and give another go, because it's a great one.
Yeah. Now we come to The Chase, which is another sort of attempt at humour from the series, isn't it? We've had a couple of those this series.
I think it may diminish the fear factor of the Daleks, but you know what? I love it.
It's the Daleks at their most 60s, in a way.
It's very pulpy, and I like it.
You can tell it was made at the height of the Daleks' popularity. Like, they were very much in the cultural zeitgeist. And this is almost more how the public sees the Daleks rather than what the Daleks actually are.
Yes.
But, if you really want to headcanon it away, you could say that the Daleks' time machine is a bit experimental. And so the time winds have rotted their minds ever so slightly.
But the glorious thing about The Chase is you've got the comedy version, then you get the serious version in the form of Dalek's Master Plan.
Yeah, that's true, because that does sort of copy a lot of the similar ideas, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that is about 6 episodes of them going through time and space, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, pretty much. But I think The Chase, it has its dark moments, like that poor woman on the Mary Celeste just going into the ocean
with
and
her child.
Yeah, it has moments of sort of darkness there. But yeah, I think that it's a nice expansion of Keys of Marinus. Like you can see Terry Nation is pulling out all his greatest hits already.
Yeah, and so very much pushing the production crew to make new sets every week.
Yeah. And it works great. And the mechanoids, you get that nice. It feels very comic book. The sort of whole fight sequence with the mechanoid and the Daleks.
You almost expect a bang to be written there, don't you? Like Batman.
See, that's a thing. In my head, I remember there being like pow bang in it. I don't know if it was a fan edit, but in my head, I just remembered like there's meant to be like a bang boom in there.
Who knows? I'm surprised that didn't get like a special edition to make it a bit more
More Daleks, more
Yeah,
mechanoids.
more actual Daleks fighting mechanoids
Yeah.
rather than just awkward explosions and layering of footage over somewhat dramatic music. But yeah, the city on Mechanus,
The White
that is
City.
beautifully 60s, isn't it?
And just the
Yeah,
model
the
work as
nineties.
well is great of like the mechanoids patrolling around it or
Yeah,
trundling.
chumbling.
So
Oh no, that's still got a couple of stories after that happens.
well, same block really, recording block of these.
Yeah, that's true. I do feel like it dips a bit in the middle, like where the actual supposed chase part of it's happening.
For me, I think it dips in episode 2, then it just climbs back up.
Uh, I think episode 1 is interesting in that half of it is just hanging around in the TARDIS.
I think that's nice though, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's just. I mean, you got Ian in his pajamas, don't you? So it's sort of the downtime for the crew, what they get up to in between. Yeah, and it's nice how the time-space visualizer comes around in showing them, the Daleks, that the Daleks are after them.
Yeah. But yeah, David Graham's brilliant in it.
Did he do the
Yeah.
the voice that has a bit of a stutter? We
Yeah.
are locked in pursuit course.
You can tell it's the David Graham ones because they're very slow.
Yeah. Nice design for the Dalek time machine as well.
Is it Vidardis? Was it called?
This might have been. Who knows?
Vidardis.
Oh. The death of Doctor Who as well. One of the few times Doctor Who is used in the title of a story.
Oh, it's great. That look-alike for William Hartnell, spot on.
Success, paramount success. Oh, I should have used that for one of these tier names.
Dear.
I'm a disappointment.
You said it, not me.
I deserve to be a burnt cinder in Spain.
Oh dear.
That goodbye scene as well.
Yes.
It's very powerful. And I think it's helped by the fact that it's also William Hartnell himself putting a lot of how he feels into that. In that he was quite upset and didn't understand why they'd want to leave. And so he's sort of getting the same reaction from the Doctor as it's burst boiling over into anger and then acceptance.
Yeah.
Beautifully done. And then the little montage at the end in London 1965 makes for some nice moments.
I think it's got everything to chase.
It's everything in the kitchen sink, isn't it? It might be a bit too much.
This might be a hot take, but I think I prefer it to Dalek Invasion of Earth.
Is it? Did the 60s Dalek stories get better for you as they go on then? Would you say Dalek's Master Plan is your favourite?
I think
or would you say the Chases?
I don't, because again, they're both very similar stories, aren't they? The Chase and Dalek's Master Plan. I just like the fun of it, really, because it's that sort of fun, but also it's like the show's never going to be quite the same again.
Yeah, because when you got rid of Susan, replacing her with Vicky, it sort of kept the same dynamic, really.
Yeah.
When Ian and Barbara go, you can't really replace that now, and so instead it switches up with Stephen. And then that's very much, the direction the show's going from this point. It is now going to be much more the Doctor as the main character. So yeah, it certainly is it's the end of an era, the Chase. And I like how during season 2, the Daleks are used to mark that change is coming, with first Susan leaving and then Ian and Barbara when they next encounter them. For me, I'd probably go sheer poetry, my boy. But do you want to put it in a roaring success?
I would like to put it in roaring success.
Okay.
He's being generous. He's being generous.
I mean, it gets a bad rap, so I'll let it go up there for just this once.
Thank you.
And I mean, also looking at what we do have in sheer poetry, I would rather stick on the chase than them. So, yeah. And now finally, the time meddler. Could this be the highlight of the season?
Yes. Yes.
Is it the
Yeah.
master of this tier list?
I think it is.
There we go.
I think it is. It's
a
my
classic,
favourite.
isn't it?
My favourite Hartnell story.
Ooh. Great stuff. Great fun. Kind of the first pseudo historical, because the chase perhaps has elements of that, given that we do go into the past.
It's a story that sort of puts its feelers out about reminding that the Doctor is an alien.
Yeah, it brings that back around, and also plays about a bit more with the fact that this is a time travel show.
Yes.
And also a great little period to explore as well. I love the monastery setting and how that's...
I just love part one's cliffhanger of just like, oh, it's a record. Bugger, I'm locked up.
It's wonderful how they realise the time periods, especially in quite a limited studio space. They managed to lay out quite a nice little area of Northumbria.
Yes.
I mean, Peter Butterworth as the monk, what an amazing performance he gives.
Great bit of casting.
Works wonderfully opposite William Hartnell as well.
Yeah.
And it's also, I think it's a very good story for Vicky as well, in that she's paired up with Stephen for most of it, and she gets to be the seasoned traveller, doesn't she, really? She's showing Stephen the ropes of time travelling, and she gets to boss him around a bit and stand up for herself. And it's her in a different role now, because she's no longer the screaming child as such, who has to be rescued by Ian and Barbara. Instead, she's now almost the Barbara role, I'd say.
Yes.
In the way the dynamic works. She's still sort of like the viewpoint for the kids, but at the same time gets to grow up a bit now. So I think it works out quite nicely how the dynamics change here, and perhaps First Doctor, Vicky and Stephen is my favourite combination for the First Doctor era.
Yeah, I'd agree, because like the stuff they've done with Big Finish as well, they've really expanded on them more.
You get like a good brother sister dynamic between Stephen and Vicky as well, I feel. I think even though Stephen is certainly older than Vicky, Vicky often ends up being the more mature one, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Which allows it to be quite amusing. Yeah, it's a brilliant story, good bit of fun. So that's our tier list for season 2. Our thoughts on the stories. Now I haven't seen the chat in a while, because locks into the share screen.
The tier list.
You can't quite do that. Yeah, but what have people been saying?
Right,
what hot takes have we had? What enemies have we made?
I think we're all right, to be honest. I don't think we've offended many people.
Makes a change.
Right, where are we? Let's scroll up. Stephen Noonan off now, but one of the most interesting docs on the DVD is End of a Line on the Gunfighters, although perhaps not as fascinating as Trials and Tribulations and Endgame. That's a very good one, isn't it?
I do very much enjoy End of the Line. Well, that's probably what the Fight for Entirety should have been.
Yes, yeah.
Just for season 2 instead of season 3. Although I think it's season 3 and then also Smugglers and 10th Planet End of the Line is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
wrapping up the Hartnell years, isn't it? Really, because it was like it was the last DVD they could do, wasn't it? For it, well, I guess 10th Planet, but that was already quite chocker in terms of stuff.
Yeah, I think it was good to fill out the Gunfighters with that one.
Yeah, I hope you have a lovely evening, Stephen.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And I will check out that comment that you mentioned. Yeah, I know I've got a couple of yours to reply to still, actually. Yeah, just been a bit busy recently. So yeah,
They're on the way.
They're on the way. Hopefully after the stream, perhaps. Oh, Stephen also says, by the way, read A 10th Planet. It's good that the show's reach often exceeds its grasps, or that its makers say, if we do this, will it break?
It is pushing how far we can push the show before it snaps.
Yeah. And I think, isn't there a saying that shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you'll end up among the stars at least?
You end up with Zarbi.
Yeah, you'll end up with the Zarbi. That's what I quite like, the names that are given to places in the web planet, like Vortis and the Isop Galaxy.
Yeah, very sci. They feel very sort of 50s B movie.
Yeah. Very much paint a little corner of the galaxy in your head.
Joe Bowers, this might be a hot take, but David Graham is my favourite Dalek voice artist.
No.
I think he does some
He's
good
a very
stuff.
good one.
Yeah, I think him and Peter Hawkins are a good combo because I think they both did the Cushing films together, I think.
Yeah, I believe they did as well. Michael Wisher's another pretty good one. Joe Bowers, The Romans was probably the first instance where the series tried a full-on comedy. Very much so.
Yeah, I think it succeeds for most part.
Yeah, I don't think it's as poor an attempt here as the Behind the Sofa crew made it out to be.
I think, again, it shows that, again, humour subjective, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And I think that as a kid, it's a good way of learning history, like the Time Meddler. I was learning about the Vikings when that DVD came out, so it was like a nice little marriage of things, really. Yeah.
I suppose it's like a most horrible histories vibe, isn't it?
Yes.
In the way that it sends up history a bit. Fun fact, the Web Planet was responsible for 3 or so people retiring from television in some way.
That's a nice little Doctor Who pub quiz.
That's a power statement for the Web Planet, isn't it?
That is the Chad Web Planet.
Yeah.
The Chad Web Planet. My goodness.
Maybe it's a good thing Peter Purves didn't get cast in it after all. He might have retired afterwards. Might be the end of his career.
Oh dear.
Well, that was another thing, actually, from the Maureen O'Brien interview, finding out that she became a supply teacher afterwards for a bit before going back into acting. Which, like, imagine nowadays in school, you're being taught by Pearl Mackie or something.
Yeah.
That's just crazy to think.
Well, it's like, I think Greg Davis was a teacher, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Oh, you can see it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he was In-Betweeners.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Well, head of sixth form, isn't it? So
yeah.
He does very much give off that energy. And I suppose he's played a teacher in another role as well.
He probably has.
Yeah. If there's one thing I want from the Web Planet, it's Menoptera action figures, says Joe Bowers. Oh.
I agree with that. And as RB,
No.
sign me up. Character online
Probably-
exclusive.
Could probably
Come
do
on.
the Zarbi relatively easily because articulation wise, you'd only need to do like legs, and you could probably reuse those legs from something else, couldn't you?
Yeah, you probably can use the Axon Man. Likewise
Yeah.
with the Menoptera, actually. Because again, it's bloke in leotard. So
Yeah.
literally, it could just be the Axon Man body, and then you basically a bit of detooling.
Yeah. Don't need Black Series levels of detail here.
I love the Doctor Who figures, but my goodness, Black Series is different league of action figures. Different league. Matt Berry's the monk. Yes, please.
Hmm.
Love Matt Berry.
Don't know if you caught my TARDIS question earlier, which just as you were going into the tier ranking, if replied already, apologies, I'll watch back later, says the Toy Maker's Cat.
Don't think we
Could you
have.
send that one again? I don't think we did do that one.
I can have a little look for it.
Yeah, maybe we could. Yeah.
I'll have a little look.
Dark Fan Pertwee, welcome to the stream.
Hello, hello.
Alchemist Fighting Guns Up TV, welcome.
Hello. Thank you. If you've got any questions, pop them in the chat. We'll happily answer them because I think we're done for season 2 at the minute.
Yeah, we've discussed all things.
We've just discussed all things. Unless you want us to discuss more things, pop in the chat.
Yeah.
I've got a vague memory of the comment. Was it like, if you could build your own TARDIS console, which one would you build? I've got a vague
here
memory
it
of
is.
seeing it.
I
Oh, you
found
got it.
Question for you both. If you could build a TARDIS console room either in your house or a garden shed, or would you design your own or based off an existing one? And if the latter, which would you do? That's an interesting. Part of me would want to maybe go for the 12th Doctor's TARDIS.
Yeah.
Because he's got the bookshelves. You could fit all your Big Finish, your Doctor Who DVDs and collection Blu-rays, and your all your Doctor Who related books all around it. Then,
See, I was thinking TV movie because then you could have like the console room and then like your collection around it.
oh, you could sit on your little chair next to the fire, eating some Jelly Babies while reading your collection booklet,
Or like listening to your Big Finish just going,
Yeah.
good audio
Get your-
drama.
get Dark Universe on the vinyl.
Yeah, like, and it's like, oh, it just starts repeating,
Yeah.
and then Snake Master comes out.
Oh no. Yeah. But yeah, for that otherwise, it's just one of those things that, like, space-wise, where would you?
But if space wasn't an issue,
Yeah. You like whole chapel to do the TV movie one.
I mean, it is a cathedral.
Yeah. But I suppose the most space effective one would probably be season 14's wood panelled.
I quite like the 60s one.
that's
Because then,
true.
if you have it in a shed, it's Inferno.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just have the console itself.
Yeah, it all works.
Sarge says favourite companion chronicle for each Doctor. Oh, you've got that one up on the screen for a
Oh, I
second.
can get it up. There we go. I'm just going to plug my phone in before it dies.
Oh dear. Yeah. I mean, I've not really listened to too many of the individual. I've only gone for the box set ones so far. So for First Doctor, what would I go? I mean, Second Doctor, I think it would be the Mouthless Dead. And First Doctor, maybe Crumbling Magician's quite a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to look into what other ones there are.
I would say First Doctor, I would go probably maybe Home Truths because it's a nice sort of atmospheric one. Or maybe something like The Anachronauts because that's quite an intriguing cover. Second Doctor. Second Doctor.
You seem to have gone a bit quiet again then, by the way.
Oh, hang on. I'll try switching over. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. There. Joe Bowers, who would your ideal combination for Behind the Sofa? Mine would be Peter Davison, David and Georgia Tennant on season 13, Jodie and Mandip on season 25, and Capaldi and David Bradley in a Hartnell season. Oh, Capaldi and David Bradley would be good on season 1, wouldn't they? It's almost a shame we didn't get to see Capaldi react to the Web Planet, actually. That would have been a nice little combo there, because he has raved about that story a couple of times before. So I think there's certainly a bit of love there. But yeah, Peter, David, and Georgia, they'd be great to have together on season 20, I think, for me. Yeah, to seeing them react to that. And it's nice with the Behind the Sofa combos, how we are now mixing. Well, we've been mixing up for quite a few sets now, actually, with Janet and Sarah, but even Doctors now, like Colin Baker getting to react to season 17 alongside Matthew Waterhouse. I think, yeah, and hopefully that is something that continues, because season 2 we didn't get to see any Doctors react to. There we shall see. Michael Troughton, along with Fraser and Wendy for season 6, would be a nice little combo. Oh, it's Ben back.
Hello?
Hello. You're a bit louder now.
There we go.
Ooh, I think you were just... So yeah, you said Home Truths or the Anachronauts for First Doctor.
First Doctor. Second Doctor, I'd probably say the cover for one of the box sets. Probably Volume 1, maybe.
Second Doctor Volume 1, that's a very good cover.
Yeah. And then the Last Post, because it's got Bessie on a cover, and I love Bessie. Then Fourth Doctor, I really like the Child, I think it is, cover. Then Fifth Doctor, there's not much choice. I think it's got to be like, I don't know if it's The Darkening Eye. I think, yeah, it's Darkening Eye. Sixth Doctor, it's got to be the Evil One, whatever one that one's called. I forgot, because I'm a fake fan. And then McCoy, it's got to be probably the Bernice one, and then Solitaire, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Eighth Doctor's only one, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's not much choice.
By default.
By default, it wins.
That's right. Could you almost count what's Classic Doctor's New Monsters? If I Should Die Before I Wake, that could very much be a companion chronicle, couldn't it?
Yes, it could actually.
With just the 2 cast members and the way the story's told. Yeah. Are there any collection box sets you hope are certain colours? Asked Stylish One. I feel like season 9 should probably be like a lightish blue or something. You know, sort of the seaside for Sea Devils. Yeah. What about you? Are there any ones that stand out that should be a certain colour?
I think 16's got to be like a pinky purple.
Yeah, to reflect the key to time.
And I think, I don't know why, but I see like 25 as like a silver.
Yeah, I mean, well, 25 silver anniversary, isn't it? So yeah, that makes sense with Silver Nemesis there as well.
But then it's kind of like, it'd be interesting seeing all the covers together, seeing if they like all flow to make this big tableau.
Yeah, like you don't want colors clashing too much next to each other, do you? I mean, apparently the next one, or one of the upcoming ones, is meant to be purple, isn't it? According to Lee Binding.
Yes.
So we shall see which one that ends up being. I suppose season 7, it's got to be like an orangey or a reddy.
I think it's got to be red.
Yeah.
It's got to
But
be the brand.
yeah, you've got a sort of orange for season 8, haven't you? So you can't really repeat that too much. Yeah. And then season 13, maybe like a goldy colour. Yeah, it's
Maybe
really
like
we are going into deep levels of
yeah.
Which colour do you want your collection set to be?
As long as it's by Lee Binding, I'm fine.
Yeah, there's not been a disappointing collection cover yet, has there? So I think we'll just trust in Lee Binding for his choice of colours. Oh, yo, I'm back. Welcome back, Mr. Monk Cactus.
Hello, hello.
Stylish one says, Ben, your camera's gone.
That's
Was that sort of the compromise to get you a bit louder?
That's a compromise of getting me back on it, unless I switch to my other phone. It's not dodgy. I'm using my old phone because I have no need for it, so it can be used to stream.
Probably not going to be here too much longer, so
we can afford it.
Talking of season 25, says the Toymaker's Cat, do you watch them in transmission order, Nemesis before show, or do you watch them the way they were supposed to air, show the Nemesis? Because you do have the Aces earring, don't you? From
yes.
Our Child appearing a story earlier than it should. I mean, I'll probably watch them transmission order when that box set comes out, just because that feels like the right way to go about it.
I mean, that's a little thing to think about when we do the McCoy-a-thon. Which way we should watch it.
Yeah. Season 26, that's another one that's all a bit jumbled up, isn't it? Would you like to see Sarah Jane Adventures, Torchwood and Class be given the collection treatment? I suppose they could all just be done as one big collection, really, couldn't they? They don't need to have a box for each. Class can have a box for each season because there's only one.
I mean, that's one I will happily leave.
Yeah.
But the others, I always thought they would have done like Sarah Jane Torchwood steelbooks. And that's what made me sort of hold off getting Sarah Jane, but that never happened. And I think that boat's sailed now.
Yeah, looks like. Unless when we start getting new spin-offs under Russell, they sort of go back to the old spin-offs to make it all line up. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Would you like to watch us do the ABCs now?
The ABCs. Oh yes, I'll load it up.
Yeah. Can you load it up on here, or
can I
have to share screen?
I think I can share screen now.
There you go.
So if you give me a little bit of time, I don't know if the audio will play through this, but we'll see. This is.
I don't know if it would play through if I did it either. I think it worked last time we did it because we've reacted to one of Stylish One's edits.
Unless I do it this way, where I download it and then I put it in like the banner thing where we have Davison.
Only problem there is that then we can't.
You don't get my
hear our reactions.
Okay.
So yeah, I think probably better for you to play it and then hope that the sound comes through.
Right, but I'll do it that way.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Give it a try, and then you never know. Toymaker's Cat only ended up the wrong way around because they wanted Silver Nemesis to air on the anniversary, but the season got delayed by 4 weeks. So to have it still on the anniversary, it was brought forward. Okay.
Just in case the sound doesn't work, I'll put the link in the chat. So if you want to watch it in your own time, you can.
Yeah.
I just got to find the tab where StreamYard is. Well, hey, video time. Hey,
There we go.
Right. There we go. So that's in the chat. Feel free to give it a little watch. I've not seen it yet. You've seen a little bit of it.
Yeah, I've seen the whole thing.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. I was already
Okay.
too far in, so I thought I might as well keep watching it. I'm enjoying it.
Right.
Oh, here we
Can
are.
we see? Can we see it?
There we go.
Right. Put it on full screen. Here we go. Are we all set?
Good to go, I think.
Okay. Chat, are we all ready?
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Sludge
better,
Squad says, much appreciated, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video.
Oh, thank you for doing it. I'm sure we're going to love it.
Well, I certainly did the first time round. So
Yeah, so I'm excited for this because I dread to think what we've said.
yeah, that's the you sort of sit there and sink into your seat a bit, going, "God, what else have I said?"
Right. Okay. Here we go.
Oh, I don't think there is audio.
Good.
No audio. Yeah, I wonder if I try it, maybe it will come through on my end.
Or maybe we've not got any sound on your end.
No, I don't think anyone in the chat.
Oh
has it.
no.
Yeah, so I think it's just you who's been hearing it.
Oh, that's. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. I don't care about you lot. That's very selfish. I appreciate you all here.
Okay, let's. Oh, I can hear it now.
Oh, you can hear it.
Yeah,
Well, what's going on there?
so I can hear it when it's not shared.
Right, you'll have to sync up.
Oh wait, no, I forgot. Oh wait, no, it was mine that was playing. For some reason, it started playing after I clicked away from the tab.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that confused me.
Right. Okay.
Okay, let's try this again.
Right.
Uh,
Right. I'll share it again.
Lord.
The joys of technology.
No. Oh,
Don't know.
there we go. How's that?
There we go.
Hey,
There we go. I can hear it.
Okay, so can everyone hear that now?
I can hear it.
Okay.
B is for
And how did you spend your Thursday night? Well, we were looking at the article of spanking on Thomas Wiki.
It's
C
true.
is for
You guys now.
D.
Oh, good times.
I'll pick a child in like the an aisle.
E
It's true. I've done it.
Oh.
F is for
Fan art of him and the Ninth Doctor with a joint.
G.
I do not
We're
remember
Giving Romana her own master.
H is for
How crazy it is.
I is for
that. I'm not a 150 wanker.
It's for
jumping too far ahead.
K is for
Chameleon Empire's the one for like box set fans.
L is for
Yeah,
Let down
hurts.
the Devils.
M is for
Maybe 4, if I'm feeling generous.
N is for
New Eighth Doctor content, boys.
O is for
Rubbish.
P is for
Pick your moment, please.
Q is for
Quite fitting for something upcoming.
R is for
Return to the blooming sinking ship.
S is for
Stoned Pigeon Trout.
T
Yes.
is for
Well, they look like they've been shat on already.
U is for
Undefendable, really.
V is for
Very interesting search results.
W is for
Buddha Man. Ah,
X
there we go.
is for
Yes.
That's it.
Exposed time.
Y is for
Yorkshire puddings and Yorkshire tea.
Z is for
Xagreus will be in the Big Finish 60th.
Yes, Lanky. Love Lanky. Oh, you know what? That's iconic.
That was a fun time.
Do you know what? It just gets better and better.
Uh,
That's
it's
made
funny
my
seeing
heart
how
warm.
some of it is taken out of context, but like a lot of it is just as bad as it sounds.
Oh, and most of it is all true.
I think Mel comes off worst out of that.
Drop kick a
Drop
child.
kicking a child.
I mean, she does want to be a teacher, so it's not looking well for the love. It's not looking good for her. Oh dear. But thank you, Starshon. That was amazing. Oh,
Wonderful
made
trip down
my
memory
day.
lane.
Made my week. It looked like one stream just had all the iconic moments.
Yeah, we were a one-hit wonder, really.
Yeah, we've never topped ourselves since. Oh,
Stylish One
brilliant.
says, "Thank you so much for reacting to it. Thank you for making it, Stylish One."
Yeah, thank you. That is amazing. They just get better and better. I'm sure the black hole one will be a fascinating documentary.
Yeah, looking forward to that. A journey through our
Oh dear.
point of view towards the black hole.
Yeah.
Oh, I now remember the alphabet again, says Mr. Bonkcactus. Like,
It is one of those weird things you do forget as you get older. So yeah.
it's like I feel like I still have to go A B C D E F G, go all the way through to work out which ones come after which towards the
Yeah.
end. Yeah, I think it should have set in by now, but no, it still doesn't. I mean, it's kind of useless anyway. Like,
Yeah.
there is no logical reason for the alphabet to be in the order that it is. Like, there's no quantifiable value of each letter for it to be in that order. It just happens to be in order.
You know, this is getting rather intellectual.
Yeah.
A 9:45.
Well, Mr. Monkcactus wants to be taught, so we're teaching him.
Yeah.
And we are not going to drop kick him.
Good job Mel's not here.
Be disappointed in us.
Oh dear. I am that disappointment for her.
You said it.
Out of context, yeah.
The black hole one is taking a while with all the. Where? Oh, yeah. Sorry, the
We
comment
lost
just
it.
shot up after we got
There
a
we
couple
go.
of them, so I lost it.
I
That
found
black
it.
hole one is taking a while with all the skits, memes, and animations, but it'll hopefully be worth it. It's a big project, but hopefully worth it. I'm sure it will be. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Also, this is a random and dark question, but wasn't Jack and Jill rhyme about a murder? I believe it was.
All nursery rhymes have a dark meaning.
Yeah, like they're all a bit twisted and a bit watered down over time, aren't they?
Like Pudding Lane is about a serial killer killing girls. Obviously, Ring a Ring a Rose is about bubonic plague, whatever one. Black Death, basically.
Yeah. Maybe it's bubonic, isn't it?
Yeah, there was two, wasn't there?
Yeah. I think bubonic is the black there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've given us, the subscribers and fans, so many hours of enjoyment, and so this is my little way of giving you some joy back. You've made my week by reacting to that. You're very welcome, Stylish One. That's very heartwarming.
You. Bless your heart. Bless you. Appreciate that. We appreciate you all. But yeah, amazing.
We just like getting together to have a chat, really, don't we? And it's just heartwarming that people enjoy listening to us do so.
Yeah, it's nice because that's a good thing about doing these streams is having a nice little community, really. So if you've enjoyed the stream and you haven't already, leave a like. If you're new around here and you like the shenanigans, subscribe for more shenanigans.
Joe Bowers asks, if the comic strip adaptations continue, which stories would you like to see made? For me, it's the John and Gillian First Doctor stories or any Frobisher stories. I remember on the podcast recently, actually, Nick Briggs has been asking people to send in suggestions for what comic strip adaptations they'd like to see done in future. So
I think the flood would be
Be
really
in the
cool.
work. Yeah.
I think that would be one I'd like to experience. I just think like the McGann comics just would be the way to go. I think because McGann, he's the top dog at Big Finish. I think.
Yeah, that is very true. I mean, when you look at the best-selling releases of last year, I think all of his ones were among them, weren't they?
Yes. Yes.
So he still does very well. He's not necessarily been overtaken by Eccleston just yet.
Yeah. Last year was McGann's year.
Yeah. GWF fan, Doctor Who, goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
I hope we get Frobisher again on the audio or visual. Yeah, that's true.
It's funny that visual is not a impossibility at this point.
No, it isn't. I think if Big Finish were to continue the comic adaptations, I think Frobisher would be the only option they could do at the minute. Especially if they got the Hebe stuff, I can't see them trying to put Frobisher in there. This could be poorly aged, and Frobisher could be with Hebe. I don't know.
Yeah. Frobisher could be in Broadway Belongs to Me.
Yeah, that would be a nice little shock.
Yeah, cover reveal, and it's got the penguin on it. Oh, Stardust One agrees, saying 8th Doctor comic, surely there's even a Celestial Toymaker one, and a Master one, and a Stockbridge one, and a Dalek one, and a Cyberman one, and a Crazed Holloway one, and a Croton the Cyberman one. 8th Doctor's got it all, hasn't he?
See, all the work is done there for them, literally. Daniel Hager, second Doctor fan. I'm very soon to start my own Doctor Who podcast. Have you got any suggestions? Not really. I think just good luck.
I suppose just probably obvious and probably something you apply on doing anyway, but find, like, because Doctor Who's massive, find something within it that you're really passionate about to start with, so that you can then talk much more in depth and gush over that, really.
I think if the passion's there, that will shine through in the podcast itself, and then people will come in and check it out, really.
Yeah. I mean, bit of a plug for next week's stream, but that was partly why we've switched up and put River there.
Yeah.
Because we're enjoying it so much. It's something we can passionately talk about and gush about for a couple of hours next Friday.
But I think in terms of I can only really talk from YouTube because we don't really do podcasts, even though I tend to call these podcasts anyway.
Yeah.
I think
the line, don't we, between video and podcasts a lot of the time.
You can listen to it. You can do whatever you want with them, edit them, make memes. We appreciate memes. But I think make content that you would want to watch or experience or listen to, because 9 times out of 10 people probably thinking the same thing, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, have a passion.
Been listening to War Master on your recommendations, and it's phenomenally good. Glad you're enjoying the War Master range.
I'm glad we've not disappointed by going, get it, it's amazing. And then people turn around and go, what are you guys on about? It's rubbish. Yeah, War Master, great range.
Yeah. So I think Mr. Montcactus has blown our advice out the water here. He's replied to Daniel Hager saying, Matt Smith drinking tea with Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, I think if you can do that, and you can get away with it because it's a podcast, it's audio.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse is going to be in the public domain soon, isn't he?
Sherlock Holmes is right now, isn't he?
Yeah. The version that's in the original Steam boat thing.
Yeah.
The steamboat animation, that Mickey Mouse. Because copyright's funny like that.
I mean, poor Winnie the Pooh's in a horror movie now.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems to be the trend now when something child-friendly gets in the public domain. they turned it into a horror movie. I say it's like the inverse of the nursery rhymes, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
They start off dark and become children's nursery rhymes. Children books and series start off, nice and kid friendly, and then become horror films in the end.
If the tease / cliffhanger of Lady Christina involving Metebelis Crystal is followed up, would you finally get to buy Lady Christina spin-off?
No, perhaps.
Depends on the story, how far we
Yeah.
go into the Metebelis stuff. It's got Tom Baker in it, then probably yeah. 'Cause that seems to be the weakness.
Yeah, that's what drew us in. That's what drew us into Unit Nemesis, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Daniel Hager says, "Thank you, Mr. Cactus, for your suggestion."
The best advice you'll get, I think.
Do you know why the alternative Fourth Doctor Big Finish covers use the red and yellow diamond logo instead of the original 70s blue logo? Kaleidoscope is the first to use it. I think it's just down to that was what was on the merchandise, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I was thinking because Doctor Who magazine used the that for the cover instead of like the blue one, didn't they? And I think even when they were doing like trailers for, I think Key to Time had the orange logo.
Yeah, I suppose it's just to make it feel like merchandise from the time.
Yes, yeah.
Would be, yeah. I mean, that's not insider information. I think that's just a guess on our part, but that feels like it could be the reason.
I think maybe it's a bit more striking as well, maybe.
Yeah, it stands out a bit more, doesn't it? I mean, so it's similar to, the Demon Rises, how that has the just solid blue Tom Baker.
Yeah.
And even though that's more the one from the title sequence, it doesn't quite look right when you've got the more striking, colourful Tom Baker that they use on most. They used to use on most of the sidebars when they did them.
Yeah.
Daniel Hager says, "Thank you, Ben and Luke. I will be working on ideas. Best of luck with it."
Yeah, look forward to hearing the end result.
Do let me know if I'm pronouncing your second name incorrectly, by the way, Daniel.
Do you think there's a bit of an absence of Doctor Who booktubers at the moment? Some people do cover Virgin Missing Adventures, New Adventures, PDAs, EDAs, but so rarely.
Did you ever do any book coverage back in the day? Because it sort of blew up for a little while, didn't it?
Yeah, I did. I reviewed Goth Opera. I did Book Corner, where I took 3 random Doctor Who books and reviewed. I think that was like The Eight Doctors, Plague City, and The Good Doctor. I think, to be honest, book content's tricky because you've got to read it, and I'm a slow reader.
Yeah, it takes a while, doesn't it?
And then you've got like all the other stuff coming out, like Big Finish, so you kind of lose track. And then it's just sort of remembering stuff in detail because it's not like, oh, I've got to make a note on page 40 that this happened,
I mean, speaking of books, actually, there's those new Target ones announced. That was the other bit of news we forgot.
Yeah.
So it's Planet of the Ood, Waters of Mars, Zygon Invasion. They're finally getting around to that because that was announced as part of the previous wave, wasn't it? But got held back because they need more work on it. Kablam, interestingly enough, and Warrior's Gate. Any of those stand out to you? Because you did get a couple of the original wave, didn't you? I think you got Rose. Did you get Day of the Doctor?
I got all of the first wave.
I got all of them.
And then the next wave, I just got Dalek.
And
then the most recent wave, I didn't get any. Because unless like the Target book's drastically different from the telly story, I'm not that interested. Like Waters of Mars interests me.
Yeah, that's a
great story.
Same with Planet of the Ood. I feel like that'll be expanded out a bit.
Yeah, I think if it's expanded, I'll go for it. Or
Yeah.
I definitely want to get all the Eccleston ones because like that's my Doctor Who.
I think Zygon Invasion will be curious in will it work a bit better if it's all together rather than split into two parts? Because you sort of have a bit of a divide there between the tone of the two parts of the story.
Maybe we get the Scarus in it.
I could do.
I still like the idea we had like when that aired that the Scarison made the aeroplane crash. Like that would have been insane.
Maybe with Disney Plus money, we can now get Scarison brought to life.
But yeah.
Favorite new series novel for each Doctor, our stylish one.
Ooh. Ninth Doctor, I would say Something Inside, maybe because it was the first ever Doctor Who bit of fiction I got.
Yeah, I'd agree there. Mainly because it's the only one I've actually read of the Ninth Doctor. I'm not much of a book reader, to be honest, but I did read that one, and it was very good.
Yeah. And then 10th Doctor. See, I read a load at primary school, and it's trying to remember little Ben's brain when he was 10, reading these.
I remember I read the paperback, like quick read ones, the Dalek.
Yeah.
I Am a Dalek, and is it Made of Steel or something?
Yeah,
The
and then
Martha and
Revenge
Spider-Man.
of the June and Sontaran
Yeah.
games and Croatan Code.
Quite a few of them were by Terrence Dicks as well, weren't they?
Yeah, I think that was the exciting thing.
Mm.
I'd say 10th Doctor, probably Prisoners of the Daleks.
Yeah,
of
I'd
the
agree with
Daleks.
that one.
And then, 11th Doctor.
Funnily enough, going back to the 10th Doctor, there was that the Sontaran games. Like, for a little quick read meant for young children, that was a surprisingly dark one.
Literally killing kids.
Yeah, I remember there's a scene where like he's in the swimming pool. He goes opens up one of the little grates by the swimming pool and takes out a hand. But the Doctor just finds a severed hand in there from memory. I mean, it might be again. It's been a long time since I read that one, so I could be misremembering. But that's the thing that sticks in my mind about the Sontaran games.
Yeah.
Just a severed hand by a swimming pool.
11th Doctor. Oh, goodness me. I really like the Series 7 book. I don't know if that's a bit controversial, but I really like Plague of the Cybermen.
No.
I really like Dark Generation as well. 12th Doctor, I'd probably go Plague City.
I knew you were going to get that one.
It's Series 10. It's amazing. And then Jodie at Childhood End, I'd say.
No. What's the 11th Doctor one where it's Apollo something, isn't it? With the
Apollo 13.
Space. Yeah. That's one. That's the only one I've read, to be honest, of the 11th Doctor, so I've got to go for that one default. 12th Doctor, it's got to be The Crawling Terror.
I like that one. I like that one.
Yeah. It sort of feels like a throwback to a Pertwee era in the same way that the what's Silurian two-part was.
I like
has
the
that similar tone to it.
Exploring like the bell, like the mystery of like the bell.
And 13th Doctor, I've not read any. So
Luke's not my doctor. Doesn't get that Jodie badge.
did you ever read Engines of War?
I did.
There you go. That's your default War Doctor novel.
Yeah. I mean, that's a brilliant book. Brilliant book.
Maybe we'll have to do a sort of like audiobook corner.
Yeah, maybe.
Discuss. I mean, are you going to get the Dead Star? Do you think?
I think I will. I was so close to pulling the trigger on it the other day.
There you go. So yeah, we could talk about Dead Star, Scourge of the Cybermen, and Terror of the Master at some point in a little audiobook corner or audiobook club or something.
And I can do Emancipation of the Daleks as well.
There you go. There's actually very few images and information online about those box sets, including different version, which I guess makes my copy interesting. Oh, sorry, there was a part one to that. There was some 10th Doctor novels bundled together in a box set called, wait for it, Doctor Who The Collection. There we go.
Whoa. Mind is blank.
Those new series novels go quite dark. A woman slowly dies in Ten's arms in Judgment of the Judoon. There's some very dark humor in James Goss's Blood Cell and Monsters Inside. It's quite violent. Yeah, Monsters Inside. I remember that being quite. I mean, as Bitch said quite a few times in it.
I was going to say something, but that'd be taken out of context, so I remember saying it.
Oh, yeah, maybe best not. There's like the discarded skins of the Slitheen/Blaverine left lying around at one point, like just in a pile, rotting. So yeah, they go in some dark directions.
I mean, Blood Cell's interesting because it's from like the governor's perspective.
Ah, the whole thing.
Yeah. Has anyone received their Regeneration figure set yet? I think there was a delay in dispatching them. So I think today they were coming out. I know some people have got theirs, but I think it could be any time now, really, for those.
Is that going to be the next video, hopefully, on your channel?
Fingers crossed. Yeah, next video will probably be a review of those, and then I'll do the figure collection. So that's a plan going forward.
Yeah. Well, Daniel Hager says, I got Dead Star, and that is going to be my first podcast.
Hey!
Very nice. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Or if you've finished it, maybe.
Yeah,
If you
7
enjoyed
hours.
Yeah. Oh. Amazing how the new series novels had a few arcs and even interlinking books. I never knew that, actually.
I think the Series 9 ones did. Like, is it Glamour Chronicles or something like that?
Yeah, that was it.
I'm missing 2 of those, so I've not read them.
Does it still work on its own, though?
I think they probably... I mean, I've got the first one of the thing, but I've not read it, so... I think it's Royal Blood.
Yeah.
But I do want to get those, because I want to get the 12th Doctor and Bernie Summerfield one.
Hopefully that's something that will return, like regular novels, like for the 15th Doctor, get 3 coming out around the time of series 14.
See, I would like them maybe for like this, for the 60th, maybe do like a new book for each Doctor.
Yeah, it feels like maybe it's already too late for that.
Yeah, we're kind of being gone. But I mean, we haven't had any sort of ghostwriter book since the Ruby's Curse.
Yeah, that's true. They sort of seem to have slowed down a bit on those things now.
That was a nice little trend because you had like Scratch Man, which very good book, and then At Child's End again, very good book. I've not read Ruby's Curse. I've got it.
Yeah. Wonder if we could get Maureen O'Brien writing a Doctor Who story since she's done her own detective series.
Hey, I'm down for it.
I don't know if the passion's quite there for writing Doctor Who on her side.
I think the Doctor Who book line's more focused on like collections of short stories, like Doctor Who Origins and stuff. I think that's where they lie, sadly.
Cyrus says, also mad how Martha had tons of novels, but Donna had very few. Yeah, Martha even got one while Donna was the companion, didn't she? With that, what's the one set during the year of Martha Jones?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think, did Donna already get 4?
Shining Darkness, Ghost of India, Doctor Trap, and then Beautiful Chaos, I think.
Yeah. That's got Wilf in it, hasn't it? Beautiful Chaos.
Yeah, with the Mandragora.
Yeah. So I just went, have you heard any 8th Doctor novels? Those got very weird. Surely Interference is right up your street, Ben. Also, the Earth Arc is amazing. You've read Interference, haven't you?
I got Interference.
Ah, you've got it. Was this
got
one
it.
of those ones that you were hunting for a good while? Because I've
No.
certainly heard you talk about it.
No, I randomly I randomly got it when I did my GCSEs because I got money for doing well in exams. So it was like here, so I bought it with that.
And you haven't even read it.
Not even read it. I mean, I got it because it's like McGann and Pertwee.
Yeah.
But I would like to carry on with the Eighth Doctor books. So I read the Eight Doctors, and James, who's big into like the EDA sort of stuff. He read a couple of them. And he's like, "You need to carry on." So I've got like the first 5. So I've got like Genocide, where it's got Joe and McGann, but Interference, I think it kills Pertwee or something like that. Like Faction Paradox kill the third Doctor, I think. There's something quite weird that goes on.
Yeah. They like their weird continuity messes back then, didn't they?
Yeah. But yeah, it's something I like to, but it's just time.
Joe Bowers says, thinking about lost stories, maybe Robert Holmes' 6 Doctors would be interesting, and it would allow for David Bradley and Stephen Noonan to appear as there were 2 first Doctors. That would be something else.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah, I just don't know if there's enough of that to make a story out of, or if it was just the grain of an idea, because he was never quite officially commissioned or anything, was he?
No, I don't think so. I think the synopsis probably exists or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe that and like the original 3 Doctors is like an anniversary box set. I'll be down for it.
Yeah.
Or maybe do like Genesis of Terror thing where you just get them reading the synopsis.
Ooh. Sarge was such a subject I know, but if they included a Fix for Sontarans, will they include the Horror of Fang Rock commentary? Do you know what the deal is with the Horror of Fang Rock commentary? Because I'm not too sure.
I don't know.
I've got the DVD right here. So I'm gonna grab that and see if I can.
So I feel bad for saying it, but I've not really explored the commentaries that much.
No, I did some. What are they called? Fifth Doctor ones, because Peter Davison and Janet Fielding together, always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's mainly just season 19 I've listened to some commentaries for. I haven't really gone into that with many other stories.
Yeah, let us know what the touchy subject is, because I have no idea of this. Is it the director and Tom? They on the commentary? Because I know they didn't get
commentary is Louise Jameson, John Abbott, and Terence Dix.
Okay.
So I'm looking up John Abbott to see if there's any reason he's. Or it might have just been something they discussed or said. I'm not...
No idea. No idea.
It seems there's quite a few John Abbotts.
Ah, there we go. Hope for future figure sets this year. I'd like 70 Solarians and just more monsters. Because it's all nice getting Doctor variants, but you need monsters to fight your millions of Doctor variants. I think. Yeah, just more monsters, to be honest, because I think that's where character excel.
No. Yeah, I can't really find much out about this Horror Fang Rock commentary. Yeah, you'll have to let us know.
I'm sure Gallifrey Bates have got something on it.
Yeah, I'm checking TARDIS Wiki at the moment to see if
TARDIS Wiki doesn't have it, then all hope is lost. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's pretty much just done, really. Unless any of you lot have got some last questions before we jet off.
Yeah. I'm curious about what this touchy subject is before we jet off. Yeah, I mean, I understand if you don't want to share that though, Stylish One. Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to find it out. But yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
There we
we'll
go.
have to listen to it to find out. Perhaps it may become obvious then.
Yeah, maybe. We'll just have to wait and see when season 15 comes out, whether it's there or not.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe that'll be the next Tom Baker one.
I mean, if you want to know what we think the next collection sets are going to be, check out our video where we speculate what we think the collection lineup is going to be.
Yeah, it was a good bit of fun to do, you know. And if
Yeah.
you're not ready to say goodbye to us yet, as this stream ends, you've got an extra 20 minutes worth of us chatting back there.
Yes.
Oh.
Hope for Big Finish spin-offs you follow going forward. Just to continue the same level of good stories, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe ironically enough for Unit Brave New World, I'd like to see like either Liz Shaw or Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart show up there.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, even though with the Unit Nemesis and Unit the New series, I've been critical of that for maybe over reliance on familiar elements. Now I'm saying I'd like to see returning elements with Unit Brave New World. Not that I think it needs it. Like I think it's doing great with what it is so far, but at the same time, I kind of want, you know, I want that combination to happen at the same time. So yeah,
This would be an interesting one.
Yeah. No stream, says Mr. Montcactus. Yeah, sorry to leave you, Mr. Montcactus.
But we'll be back. We'll be back talking about River Song.
Yeah, that'll be next week's friend of the family, and a bit of Two Rivers and a Firewall thrown in there as well for good measure.
Yeah. Maybe with a bit of clickbait. Maybe not. You'll have to see whether we're clickbaited.
Yeah,
You know?
we've got the thumbnail all ready to go, haven't we? So
Yeah. So it's all good. But yeah, it's good set.
yeah,
Good
all set for
so
next
far.
week.
Yeah.
And then after that, who knows? Either Time War or Torchwood.
Yeah.
We shall settle on that at some point. They are both coming. Sorry if you have been looking forward to those streams, and we've just delayed them for some River Song that you're not interested in. But we really enjoyed River Song, so we want to talk about it.
Well, hopefully we can change people's mind and say, "Oi, get this set,"
Yeah, we shall
because it might be the best River Song story ever.
Might be.
#free Amazon gift card giveaway.
We're not going that far for legal reasons.
No. We cannot afford it on
We
this
have to
budget.
specify that this is not happening.
Yeah, we have no budget. So yeah.
Stylish One, thank you for another great stream. Take care and see you next stream. Yes, take care of yourself, Stylish One. Thank you again for that amazing ABC video. Wonderful
Yes,
to
thank
watch.
you indeed. Thank you indeed.
Oh, one last little interesting bit from Joe Bowers here. Strange to think soon Jago and Lightfoot will no longer be the longest spin-off. Both River and Unit will catch up with it soon. They will, won't they?
I swear I've mentioned this before. Like, you think how long it took Jago and Lightfoot to get to that where they did, and how quickly a modern spin-off can just get there within like 2 years. You know, it's mental.
I feel like it's somewhat similar for River, actually. Like when did... Because she had one box set a year for a while and then went up to 2, and Jago and Lightfoot started off with 1 and then went up to 2 quite quickly, didn't they?
Yeah.
Let's just checking the date on this quickly. So River Song Series 1, December 2015. So how many... So Right, so that's 8 years. That's been going now.
Yeah.
Or, well, 7 actually, because it's December to January. So we'll say 7 years for River to get from 1 to 11. Jaguar Light first. Well, did that start 2010?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
June-
2009.
Yeah, June 2010. Oh, yeah, if you count Mahogany Murderers. And Series 11 of Jaguar Lightfoot was 2016. So about the same gap, really. 7
Okay.
years. So, yeah, following on around the same there.
Hmm.
But yeah, nevertheless, in terms of quantity, they will soon be overtaken by River and Unit. And Unit as well, that started around, that was November 2015, wasn't it? Just before.
September. I think it came out at the same time as like Torchwood, didn't it?
Let's have a quick check before we head off. Unit new series. You've got Extinction, currently only 14 quid because it's part of that autumn sale. So if you're interested in that, that's something you could go for. But yeah, November 2015. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. So Torchwood started, September 2015, didn't it, with the conspiracy?
I think because like the announcements were pretty close, I assume they would be released pretty much the same month.
Yeah, because I mean, you sort of had a couple of separate announcements, didn't you? Because Unit was initially part of like a special deal, wasn't it? Before the full new series license came along, and then we got Classic Doctors, New Monsters, Churchill Years, and River. Yeah, that's one that hasn't quite got as much legs. Churchill Years.
Yes, it got 2 series. Give it that.
Yeah.
I'll give it that.
There we go. Night, everyone. Have a good one, lads. Thank you to Mr.
Thank you.
Boncactus. Tartar for now says the Toy Maker's Cat. Thank you for joining us. Wonderful
Thank
to
you.
see you.
Thank you, lurkers. Thank you, people in chat. We appreciate you all for taking your time out of your daily routine to join us waffle about Doctor Who. It's great.
Yeah. Always a good time to be had here.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Stephen Noonan, for the little bit of time you did spend with us.
Yes, thank you.
Uh,
Thank you. Hope you have a lovely evening, whatever you were doing.
I'll be going back to that comment shortly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will fire some responses back because I feel bad and terrible.
You've been preparing the best response possible, haven't you? You've been drafting
Yeah.
them up.
Yeah, I'm doing my homework and Harvard referencing.
Leaving no stone unturned.
Literally getting proofreading, all that, yeah.
And also, I'll be going back to The Outlaws soon. I've got episode 2 ready and waiting for me.
I'll be going back to the Mortimer house.
Yeah, there we go. We'll be finding out more about the mystery there.
Indeed.
Find about the Isle on the shore next, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
Well, night, lads. Good night, Mr. Boncactus.
Good night.
Take care, everyone. See you next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye, everyone.